Like just that in that section and to repair it. That's what we were talking about. We're talking about $700,000 project, but this project is just a portion of it to fix the leaks. It was just had so many leaks. Only thing that we
You're trying to abate. You're not trying to repair the entire project. You're just trying to abate a leak. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And more damage. So we can use emergency.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, you can do it. Use an emergency and do that as long as you're not trying to
Do the whole project.
Right.
Any other questions? Comments? Need a motion?
Second.
Got a motion and a second to move forward with the emergency project repair unit. All in favor, show by sign of aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. That's unanimous.
Yes, sir. That's it.
Yeah, okay. Mr. Hooker.
Good morning. We've got several things to bring to the board this morning. And what I wanted to start off with is the first one project. This is the Washington County project at WC 19-3. It's Greer Road, or bridge replacement on Greer Road. And I think all of y'all have a bid tab sheet on that. We took bids on it March the 12th. And like I say, we got a cover letter explaining that, and then the bid tab attached to it. There's a free sheet for that bid tab. And you can see we had two bids. One was electronic. Low bid was Fordyce Construction Company in the amount of $337,820. And that's to fix the road and approaches to it. And so it's our recommendation that the project be awarded to the low bidder, Fordyce Construction Company, in the amount bid of $337,820. And further, that we set up a project fund of $412,140.40 to pay for any contingencies and engineering.
Questions or comments?
What's our projected cost on that project?
Our estimated cost on your bid tab sheet, if you look on page 3, our estimated cost is $332,018. $332,018, and the Fordyce bid is $337,820.
More information.
Okay, a motion and a second. Question?
I was asked about the contingencies. Is this the average amount you know?
The contingency is 5%. That's what state aid usually asks you to put in on a state aid project, and we've done all these just like state aid projects.
So we do all of our county projects like we do state aid.
That's correct.
Okay, good deal.
All in favor, show by sign of aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
And I've got to
That's unanimous.
order the board for you for your signature on that project award and the project funds. Okay.
I'm gonna get it when he finishes. Go ahead.
The next thing I have, we also took bids on March the 4th for some ERBR projects. And you have a bid tabulation and a cover letter for each one of those. I guess we need to do them individually, and we have the board orders and the things that go with it that we have to have for state aid and MDOT, since these are MDOT type projects. But the first project was ERBR 7601, and that's Priscilla Road across Williams Bayou. And y'all should have those letters.
Yeah.
And also the bid tabulation sheets that go with them. We had several bids on the project. Maloof Construction Company, Fordyce, Dozier, J.J. Ferguson, and Century Construction Company were the bidders. And the low bidder, of course, was on that project was Maloof Construction Company out of Greenwood. And the low bid was $705,777.88. And so we recommend that the award go to the low bidder, Maloof Construction Company, in the amount bid. And we recommend that you set up a project fund in the amount of $822,231.23 to cover contingencies and engineering.
Okay, now I want you to remember this is the bridge we talked about that was already done by a county crew on Priscilla Road, one of them took Priscilla Road. Is that not right, Mark?
That's correct. And when we talked about it, you know, it was built, it's kind of a non-standard bridge, didn't have blow counts on your bearings, had some problems with some slabs that'll have to be inspected and load rated on a yearly basis, and y'all decided to go ahead with it, the reason we did it. And this will replace it, and no cost to the county, and you won't have to do anything with it from now.
You said no cost to the county. I was just,
It's paid for by ERBR and state aid funds.
now I do have another question. You said that the county did this bridge. When did they do the bridge?
Last year.
So what, I guess the thing is, if we have the county do the bridge, we need to make sure we are in compliance, they need to go through some type of training versus doing a bridge and turn around doing it the next year with those funding.
This was more or less repair.
Yeah, it was a little.
It was a repair job.
Okay, I'm just wondering
Yeah,
what you're saying.
no problem.
And the downside is the annual inspections.
Right, and low grade.
You can leave it like it is, but you have to do your annual
I
inspections
don't
on
have
the
a
end.
problem with it, but I just think that, you know, if we're gonna have the county doing bridges, we need to make sure it's up to par versus doing it 2 times. We do it this year and turn around and do it next year.
We agree. I just want to make sure everybody understood what we're doing, what we're voting. Any other questions or comments? If not, what's pleasure?
So moved.
Second.
We got a motion and a second to approve, 7601. All in favor, show by sign of aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Point of information,
Go ahead.
he said 822. That's the amount you put in with the contingency.
822, 231, 23.
Yeah, he caught
That's
us
right.
706.
That's the, I'm sorry, ERBR, that's the project. I'm sorry.
No, but it's similar, okay.
Yeah, right. ERBR 7601.
So what was the vote, please?
It's unanimous.
Okay.
Any opposed? It's unanimous.
That come in under estimated cost?
Yes. Those are, looking you, the documents that go with it to MDOT. Ms. Hansel just laid there. One is the board order and the other is a report to MDOT, where we're at on the status of funds.
Good. Give us Washington County, it was that 19-6 now.
All right. Now, the next project, we have is, ERBR 7603, and, that is the Bassett Road project. And, as, again, you have the bid tabs attached, and the low bidder on that project was J.J. Ferguson Sand and Gravel out of, Greenwood, Mississippi. The low bid was $410,853.33. $410,853.33. And, we recommend again that this bid be approved. It is the low bid, it is within the money. And, we set up a, project fund in the amount of $478,644.13.
So moved.
Second.
And second. All in favor, show by sign of aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. That's
And
unanimous.
that has the same documentation and paperwork to go with it for the board to sign.
All right.
All right. We have, the next is project ERBR 7606. That's Stone Airport Road. We took the bids on those again on, March the 4th. And, the low bidder on that project was Fordyce Construction Company. The low bid was $310,610.50. And, we recommended the board, on the project go to the low bidder, Fordyce, and the amount bid. And further that we set up a project fund of $361,861.23 for this project.
So moved.
A motion and a second. All in favor, show by sign of aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. That's unanimous.
And, the last bid, the other day there was, ERBR 7607, that's Eichmann Road. And, again, we received several bids. The low bid on that project was Fordyce Construction Company in the amount of $327,602. And, we recommend that we award to the low bidder on the project in the amount bid. And further that we establish a project fund of $381,656.33.
So moved.
Motion
Second.
and the second. Questions, comments?
Looks like on all four, then we come up under estimated cost on those, which are
What's the time limit? I noticed they getting on the bids. What's the time limit on that particular project? I don't want my roads out in 2 years.
We have set about 120 working days for each project. And, so far they haven't had a problem. And that's pretty much in line with what MDOT does. You go all the working day projects rather than calendar day projects. If you go to calendar day, it starts running the bid price up on Mr. Redmond, and so we do it as working days. We have an inspector out there every day, and if they can work, they're charged a working day. If it's wet or raining, we don't charge them a day, and that way they feel like they're getting kind of a fair treatment on the days they work.
On Smiley Road, I'm working on the dirt road.
Right.
Here, it's rain. Soon as it get a couple of dry days.
Right. Yeah, we're through with the bridges on just about every bridge we've got. The ERBR, the two ERBR bridges we got are Smiley Road and Peach Dump. The bridges have been through for about 2 months, and we're just waiting on dry weather. The LSBP project, Fraser Road, the bridge is complete. They moved off of it last week, moved up to Helm Road, and let's see, I think just about, yeah, that's all of our ERBRs that are state or LSBP. And the Washington County bridges on Wood Sawmill Road, he's about, I'd say 30% through the bridge. So they're moving real fast on the bridge work. The only thing is you got to held up is the dirt work.
I do have another question that's following by Supervisor Griffin asked. Only arena, three projects by Fordyce. So with him, did he have approved that can work simultaneously, or is it that he completes one project and then he goes to the next project?
He's got two crews.
Okay.
And they're working on them every day you can work. And a lot of days when it's raining, they work in the rain trying to, go as fast as they can go on them to be sure we don't get, too far behind. And we just need a lot of dry weather and sun. One thing, talking about bridges and repairs, since we got, I think Arthur has a new bridge repair crew, and they do way better. And sometimes when we get these bridge closures, like I've got one to give to you, I think the board has got, they'll go in and fix the reason that the bridge was closed. In other words, we give them a list of problems that we get back from Santec when they get these things. And we have talked to the old bridge crew and the new bridge crew about when you're there and you got this bridge already closed, and you go in and you fix these major things that they've asked us to fix on these, like piles or caps or whatever. While you got it closed, while you got some deck fans off, fix everything around it so that we don't have to go back when they come back and re-inspect it, or next year or the next year, so we'll do it. And sometimes I know they got so many that we're behind on, they'll fix what they have to fix and then leave. So that's the only thing I would say that we need to work with our bridge crew about is fixing them completely when we get there and fix them and then be through with them for some time. Because we'll call from the re-inspection for and they'll come up and won't open it because something else, has gotten bad since they did the original inspection. So anyhow, I just, like I said, recommend that we get them to fix more than just a minimal thing when we, that's listed on the closure. And so anyhow, what I have here, Ms. Hampton got this letter, I'm sure, for a bridge closure on the Walker Road, and I talked with Mr. Redmond about it just to make him aware of it before, when I got in the mail or whatever. And I talked with you about Mr. McGee. Arthur and I talked about it, so he board chooses to close it, but it's recommended by state aid that we close it till we fix it.
I went down and looked at the bridge, and I got a family that lives there, and then I first got to figure out how they're gonna get in and out before we do anything. And ain't nothing but a little ditch. I think we put a cover in that, but I'm gonna let somebody else, a little more expert on whether or not we put a cover or go back to that bridge. But we gotta figure a way to get the family in and out before we take the bridge out.
I think Mr. Perry was going to check with the Drainage Commission to see what size curb could be put in, because we're taking a curb out and put them an alternate route.
Well, they're not going, the Drainage Commission expects us to design the cover for it, and,
Y'all need to get that.
and I brought that up to, Mr. Redmond about it, but it has to be carried to the Drainage Commission to approve it, before you put cover in there.
That's fine. All right. We also need to make sure that, like Mr. Britton was saying, the family doesn't get locked in. So, Mr. Perry, if you hadn't gotten with, the Drainage Commission, you and Mr. Anderson get together and make that happen.
He's also, Perry's also looked at the other way out for the Dean Road Farm, so.
Go ahead, Mr. Perry, take care.
Me and Lorenzo, we did get together.
Well, you all have gotten together. Maybe it was a hand or a book and see, I don't know. But good.
No, I just want to make sure that, as far as clarity, you know, Mr. Hook is providing re-inspection services. So it has, you know, provide.
Santec inspection for state aid, and then when they're fixed, we call Santec and they come back and re-inspect.
So you recommend for Santec to come?
Well, they'll have to when it's repaired, yes.
Right. So Mr. Hooker recommends for Santec to come to re-inspect the bridges. So I want to make sure on
We
point.
request them, we don't recommend them.
Yeah.
All we do is say please. And
Yeah,
tell us
that's
what
what
we're doing.
it
Yeah, request. So once they request, you know, from this letter, you know, the county engineer is not on this list, so you need to make sure that, you know, the county engineer is sent to the county engineer so we can make the recommendation to the board on far as the design. So if it goes to maintenance, it's not, it has to be engineering decision. You see what I'm saying? So that way you have to follow the chain of command on how the process will go. Because if you open the bridge up and say you put a cover in, just like the Priscilla Bridge, if you do it the wrong way, you have to redo it again. So you're trying to prevent that from, we'll be out there with the county crew looking at, as far as they're doing maintenance, doing blows and everything, make sure it's done right. Then you won't have to re-inspect it going before.
You always have to re-inspect it.
Outstanding.
Once you re-inspect it, then that's when you go.
Okay, outstanding. Any other questions? Please, gentlemen, you want? Not
Oh, yeah,
one more
I-
thing. Let's go ahead.
Ms. Hooker, do we have digital maps?
Yes.
Okay, could you share those digital maps with INS, because they've been, I guess, trying to get them, and they have not received digital
Yes, use
maps.
them off the same website we did it. Yeah, I mean, nobody's asked us about any of them.
Well, I, you know, want to be the mediator, could y'all share them with INS, because they are here today?
I didn't understand.
Would you share those county
Anybody
digital
belongs
maps?
to the county, we give them if they ask us for it, they didn't ask us anything.
Well, it's fine, I'm just making a request that you share with them.
I don't know, why they hadn't asked for
Well,
it.
I can't answer that question,
I
I'm
can't
just,
either.
sir, I just want to make sure we get the information shared. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Anything else, Mr.
That's it.
One more thing.
Oh, yeah. I brought, Mr. McGee a change order. Normally these, if it's a state aid project, we work a change order when we want to change something on the project and send it to state aid engineer and, they, you know, for their approval. We have, on the, Helm Road, that's a real tall bridge, the stream is real deep, washes real bad. And, normally we put, stiffeners on those pilings if they're over a certain length. And we had put them on those pilings. State aid took them off, I think on some other bridges that were similar to that, but that one has a lot of drift on it. When you get a lot of drift, it causes a lot of load against your piling. And, you know, it'll cause the piling to deflect and several things like that. So we want to add those stiffeners on. We have, and that's one of the reasons we set up contingency on these projects. We have a contingency on that project. And, what we want to add back is, just a percentage of the contingency. So we recommend that that the board approve the change order to let us, add the stiffeners to those piles on that, Helm Road project.
What's the amount of the change
It's
order?
about 27,000,
I've got on this, 25 to get.
25 to that, yes, right.
I just
25
got
to
one
that.
question, you said state aid took the stiffeners off.
Well, on some other bridges where we had that same length, they took it out, but they didn't have the drift on them. This does. It gets a lot of, logs and brush, and they build up on the piling, and it causes deflection on the piling, so you put the stiffeners on them for several reasons. That's right, make them strong.
So moved.
Kind of a safety thing.
Second.
I've got a motion and a second. The correct amount is 27,285. Any other questions? Any other questions? Need a motion?
You already got it.
And a second. All in favor, should I sign it? Any opposed? That's unanimous. We'll sign it. Anything else, Mark?
As I have. Thank y'all.
Oh, no, thank you. Mr. Scott?
How are y'all doing today?
Good morning.
Good morning. Just in light of COVID-19, I just had a few updates. One, I want to thank y'all for y'all's leadership during this time. If there is any updates, I know y'all are using emergency management, but please share that information with us as it pertains. We will be getting that information out tonight at 5 p.m. in our office. A local business is giving a demonstration of, we have a kiosk that they're selling. It's a fever detection kiosk. It's actually quite remarkable. It looks kind of like an ATM machine. It's got a computer screen that you line up the face, and it scans the forehead for fever. We're inviting all the employers of the area in. That's at 5 p.m. today to see how they could use that possibly in their work environment. That's at 5 p.m. today. We're also probably Tuesday or Wednesday doing a small business meeting, either inviting them there or calling in. But we just want the people to know, since we are the chamber also, that we're here to support. You see a lot of chamber restaurants doing curbside pickup. We're seeing a lot of the retailers saying, hey, we're still online. We want businesses still to thrive. We know that there's going to be small business taking a hit. So anything that we can do, we want to do that. So please tell folks, if you have friends that are owners of small business, we are still here to help them. Get with us. So please keep on the lookout. Also, with the most recent CDC announcement of nothing over 50 attendees for the next 8 weeks, there's going to be a mass influx of postponing events coming from us. The annual meeting being one of them. We'll be getting that information out shortly, as well as some business after hours and some other events. So please follow us on Facebook and other social media, and you can stay up to date. But I stress this to those watching on Facebook and everything. I see the cameras around us. Follow the Chamber and the Economic Alliance on social media, if anything, for the small businesses in our community. And they're the ones that are really going to be taking the hit right now in our community, and they need to survive and thrive. So if there's anything we can do, is still support small businesses in this time. So if there's anything else I can do or answer any questions, I'd be happy to.
I do have a question. You're saying that a lot of business going to be doing drive up. If you may want to just put that post, those phone numbers of those businesses on your page,
Yes.
I think that'll be more effective. Most definitely, the county can put it on our website page as well, just so that we can have our local business here in Washington County.
That's a great point. Yes, very much so. Thank you.
Anyone else? Any other questions?
Well, I need to try to figure out how, Greenwood, they drive through and they test and they never get out the car. So if they infected, they keep driving, I'll carry them somewhere else, but they don't get out and go in like we doing at DRC. I'm a little scared to go over there and get tested. That's right.
Well, and I'll tell you, again, with the restaurants, a lot of them are doing, and I know you're talking about the medical providers, but a lot of the restaurants are doing curbside pickup. So you can just pull right to the curb and they'll walk your food out. So that's, again, a lot of people are making concessions for this time. And as we all know, we rise up in times of crisis here, especially in Washington County, we rise up.
Okay, now, if you think you have symptoms, the RNC, they have put out a communications as to what the process would be. They have a phone number for you to dial. If you think you have symptoms, we're going to have a conversation with someone, they will direct you. That number, of course, is 725-6000. They prefer you dial the number, and the decision will be made whether to put you through the protocol or what the next step may be. If you dial the 725-6000 number versus just showing up. Anything else, Mr. Coppins?
I'll just say that we are still, economic development is still happening. It's just, There's not site visits, there's a lot of audio, video conferencing going on right now.
Good enough.
So, yes, thank you so much.
No, thank you. Mr. Dwayne Richardson is not here. Dwayne Richardson is not here. He was down for use of White County Convention Center for a Sulu College recruitment event April 6th.
Sir, you still need it?
It was a gathering of people,
They,
more than
they,
50
they
people.
need it, and they can cancel it. They still.
It was a gathering of more than 50 people. So be careful with what you approve.
It may not be more than 50 people. Mr. President. Just to help the people out here, so hold on.
I've got a motion
Second.
and a second. All in favor, show by a sign of aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That's unanimous. Go ahead. Hopefully they'll do the right thing. Ms. Jacqueline McCoy, acquisition of Chambers Middle School.
Good morning.
Morning.
You each will be getting a copy of a letter as well as an additional page. And I am the executive director of Chambers Campus Center, CSC Incorporated, of Arcola, Mississippi. And I'm here to request serious consideration for the acquisition of Chambers Middle School. And it identifies the two properties. The property, small property, which is lot 4 and 5. And then the school property itself, which is about 3 acres. And I'm aware that you don't have the final legal decision because I looked on the website and it's still not posted. And it's been at least 3 months.
That's your question?
Yes, that's my question. Because it was tabled the last time and so you said that it died, so I assumed the whole request process was dead. So I want to make sure that my request is before this vote.
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor,
Yes, sir.
First of all, and I understand that this process, this request has been ongoing for several years.
Yes.
And it's my desire to see that it is concluded and concluded with clear and distinct understanding that once it's fully resolved, it will be resolved to everyone's satisfaction. To begin with, there is a request from the town of Arcola for these properties. And in this state and historically, preferential treatment is always granted to these governmental entities when a request is made. I know that Ms. McCoy has indicated that she operated a nonprofit. I'm not familiar with her nonprofit, whether it's 501c3 or not.
It is not 501c3 at this time.
Okay, and because it is not, it legally, honestly, would take a back seat to a governmental entity and any 501c3. There are a number of ways that the county can do this, and the county certainly has the properties. But there are a number of ways. There's one process to transfer to a non-profit health clinic. I didn't hear Dr. McCoy indicate that she was a health clinic under section 17-25-25. So certainly she would not qualify as a health clinic. There's a second process that the county under 19593 can qualify that can transfer the property to a patriotic or charitable organization that is 501c3. And I have not heard Dr. McCoy indicate that she is a patriotic organization, nor does she meet any of the criteria under section 19-5-93. The final section is, and I can share, I think I've already provided the board members copies of section 19-7-3, the other, yeah. I think earlier this year you were provided copies of those. And this board, I have not been given any guidance that this board intends to attempt to sell or convey this property. The other criteria would be, under this statute, if you look down there, it allows the county to transfer it to a person or an organization, such as a municipality, under certain conditions. If you turn to page, the second page, it provides that the subject property, at first, it is real property, and it was not acquired by tax sale, and the property has not been abandoned, nor is it deemed to be blighted property at this point, because it came from the Hollandale School District. Then it says that, well, maybe not, okay. There's two properties now, one of them was used as Chambers Middle School until recently, okay?
Excuse me, both of them is Chambers Middle School.
Okay,
Right.
there is no lien against the property, never has been, that the subject property is blighted and is located in a blighted area, that the subject property is not needed for governmental uses, that's true, that the sale of the property or transfer is otherwise provided by law, it is, but here's the catch-all. First of all, it provides that any cost associated with it must be paid by the government entity, person or organization that's acquiring the property to look at it. And then the final one, the reason why I recommend that you convey it to a governmental entity, because if nothing is done on this property, says any deed or instrument of conveyance executed pursuant to the authority granted under this subsection shall contain a clause of reverter, provided that the title of the property will revert to the county if the person or entity to whom the property is conveyed does not fulfill the purpose for which the property was conveyed and satisfy all conditions imposed within 2 years. Now, that's a very short term when you're talking about the size of these properties. If you were to transfer to Ms. McCoy, that she would have to meet these conditions that the board established within 2 years. And that is why I recommend you look to the governmental entity as opposed to an individual, because of the concern for these, if the conditions are not met, you will end up right back with this property within 2 years. So you have to be very careful. Then there's the requirement, and I haven't seen it yet, that the property can only be conveyed for civic, social, or other community purposes. And based upon Dr. McCoy's letter, and all she said is being conveyed to an organization. I don't know who the members are.
If you were reading
Let me finish. Who the members are for African heritage purposes. African American heritage purposes. That's a good sound purpose, don't get me wrong. But it does not identify anyone other than Dr. McCoy. I'm not seeing anyone at this meeting other than Dr. McCoy, who's associated with the organization for which you request that the property be conveyed to.
What's your recommendation?
It is my recommendation that this property be offered to this town of Arcona. And the mayor has made a request that it be offered to them, and that they are willing and ready and able to accept. It will enable them to pursue grants and other monies in an effort to improve that property and assures that it will be used for the civic, social, of other community purpose for which such a conveyance has to be conveyed.
Let me ask one question. What is blighted property? What is your description of blighted property?
Blighted?
Yes.
Properties that grown up and not being used for a lengthy period of time.
Okay.
Even if it's blighted, that's part of the condition which the board can use to convey the property, if it's abandoned or blighted. Okay?
Abandoned and blighted.
Yes.
That's your responsibility.
Shelbyville Middle School is a very large piece of property, and we got the city wants it, we got this nonprofit that wants it. I think we need to find a way where both entities can do whatever projects they want to do in the facility, because it's going to cost a lot of money to bring that school back up to par. And Arcola is a small community, and it shouldn't be mine and mine. It should be we can find a way that both of you can do your projects in their facility. I don't want us to be in a situation where we give them one over the other. Arcola is too small for that. I think Mr. Bishop Benson and Mr. Redmond need to get together, because I know you're a product of their community, and come back with a recommendation to this board. Because y'all, this is your district, but at the same token, we have to be cohesive, we have to work together, where we can find a way we can do this, besides just, we can't be doing this, y'all. It's too small for that, and that building is too big where we have both entities in that facility.
My recommendation is based on the attorney's advice that it be conveyed to a public entity. I'm sorry, a governmental entity. Simply because if not, then as the attorney stated, we'll be right back in the same position in 2 years. And so in an effort to alleviate that challenge altogether, I say we give it to the town of Arcola and then let them go do what they want to do.
And Ms. Brooks would not preclude Dr. McCoy from getting with them and trying to work with the town in an effort to develop this property for the community. Certainly, what I glean from it is that these requests are mutually detached from each other, and that's not good. Okay, so it would be my recommendation that it would be conveyed to one entity and they form a partnership to work together. And in other words, Dr. McCoy needs to look to Arcola and try to work with the community of Arcola.
Before I ask for a motion, we have clear deed or title to both of these properties?
Yes, we do, and
Both properties.
what you will need is a resolution. And it depends on what the board's action is today. I will prepare a resolution to transfer the interest or do whatever this board directs me to.
Ms. Brooks.
So I have a question about municipality. Because I know the county gave the hospital to Holland some years ago, like that.
Yeah, South Washington Hospital.
And I know nothing came out of it. My question is, so if the municipality do anything with the facility, does it revert back to the county?
Put that clause in.
And the answer is yes, the reversionary clause applies to all. However, with respect to the governmental entity, the requirements are more relaxed in terms of they can come back in and act for an extension and so forth. But yes, the same is applicable to anyone, the reversion.
5 years, Bishop, or what?
I think in 2 years, or 2 years, recommendation of the attorney.
Take a motion.
Yes, sir. That's my motion.
We got a motion
You ain't got a second.
and a second question, Mr. Griffin.
All right. Our code has to show me something with Arcola. Downtown Arcola is in Turbochet. And been that way for the last 3 or 4 years. And I just hope this don't come out to be the same way. Somebody need to work with somebody so we can get our code back on the map. I know if you can done something to that downtown area, it's nothing but a voodoo.
To my understanding, there are plans, to do something with the property from the town of Arcola. And so that is another reason for my recommendation. But I do think that there possibly is a way that they can both work together. And I like, Mr. Brooks would like to see that happen.
May I ask, what are their plans?
Yes, ma'am. The plan is to do a retirement home and to rehabilitate that building and to do a retirement home.
Okay, all right.
You said retirement.
Yes, ma'am.
I hate to say it like that.
We'll get more clarity before you come in.
Assisted living.
Before you come in any further. I've got a motion and a second. There are no other questions. All in favor of transferring the property to the town of Arcola? Sure that's not about. Any opposed? One abstention.
So I'm just.
Ms. Brooks abstained. That's 4-1 abstention.
4-1, okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Gordon, you done,
Sorry. Yeah, I meant to say
So,
that.
please,
Yeah.
All right.
Good morning,
Ms. Washington.
everyone. How you doing?
Ms. Washington requesting use of Watts County Convention Center for the mayor's prayer breakfast, April 28th.
However, I am here to say that we will be, at this time, postponing that. I was already on the agenda, but I did want to come and let you guys know that at this time, because of the, COVID-19, and we do service 800 to 900 people at that time, we're gonna postpone.
Outstanding.
This is stronger than prayer.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Attorney Rogers. Attorney Rogers.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I am the Washington County Public Defender. I haven't met most of you. I know I work with Attorney Griffin. But it's my understanding that my request for the additional salary from the assistant's vacancy, that was denied at the last meeting. And I guess I would just like some clarity on why that was, if you all don't mind. And then I have maybe a proposed compromise.
Excuse me, on what? I'm sorry.
Last meeting,
Yes.
I requested via letter, I sent it to Ms. Carter.
Yes, ma'am.
And requested that there's a vacancy in the office.
Okay.
The assistant, and we requested that vacancies, the pay for the rest of the office.
That money be split up between several.
Yes, there are just 3 of us in my office.
Between several public defenders who were there. And there was, can I come in?
Yeah.
Now, what we were asked to do, some kind of way it couldn't be split up because of the workload of how things are done.
Well, and I try not to know in other people's office, but, there were 2 lawyers there. Okay, and I'm not convinced that, other staff will, act as a lawyer, will he be acting as lawyers?
Will they be acting as lawyers?
Sure.
Are you asking me if they're gonna engage in the unlawful practice of law? No, they're not acting as lawyers.
Well,
They're not admitted to the bar.
So, the lawyer's salary was what?
72.
$72,000. You want to divide $72,000 up among other staff and yourself.
Correct.
My only thing with that is public defender. Don't be challenging about 3 lawyers in the DA's office. You know,
Say that again, I'm sorry, I didn't understand.
one public defender alternative, I'll be challenging 3, because I believe they have about 3 attorneys in there.
They're actually 4.
4,
Yes.
you did. Well, I'm just thinking that, they already, people's already feel that they don't get the best of the, defense when they got a public defender, you know, mainly because of how much they pay, but I'm telling you from law enforcement.
Yes, sir.
I have a question. Why are we not just gonna appoint another public defender?
Well, she has to decide herself.
She would?
I think that's her job.
It's my job to hire somebody, and I've only had 2 people apply,
Right.
partly because the salary is so low.
And what we decided was that the salary was intended for an attorney.
Okay,
And we did not want to split it up between people who were not attorneys. That's why it was denied.
okay. And I would not ask that it would go just to me, okay, so I'm gonna skip that argument, but, I have what I think would be a good compromise to that. I have talked to, the head circuit court judge about this, and what I would like to do is somewhat change the job description of the assistant. I would like to have an assistant just do the preliminary hearings on Tuesdays and Thursdays, which is also part of, what we do, and pay that person somewhere around $20,000 to $22,000 a year just to do those preliminary hearings. And then I would ask you to take the remaining portion of that budget and give it to the rest of the office because they are paid so low.
What are the salaries in the office?
What are the salaries? My office administrator makes $36,938 a year. And my investigator makes $39,520 a year. Which if you know how much they make at the DA's office, it's considerably much lower.
You don't see in the future hiring someone else? I mean, just because you got 2 people that applied this time, maybe in a few months or so, I mean, you don't see in the future maybe possibly trying to hire somebody else?
That is possible. And I'll tell you, when I got here, I was expecting the workload to be somewhat unbearable. That has not been my experience, okay? So I was thinking that an assistant would be absolutely needed to split what I do down the middle. However, I have been able to do all of this by myself. But it is a strain having the preliminary hearings on Tuesday and Thursday when we're in court term. So if I could have somebody to share that load, I think that this would be a good way to help without having to come up with more money for our budget to pay my staff.
What about other counties as far as your employees? How do they rank for, Bob or Kent or salaries go?
I would need to research. I'm from Greenwood, and I've been both in ADA and I've also worked for the county over in LaFleur County. Every county does it differently. They do not have a public defender's office in LaFleur County, but I'll tell you, in Sunflower County, they have 2 part-time public defenders, and I know that they make a good salary plus benefits. But I don't know about Bolivar. I could check it.
I'm just saying, before we make a decision,
Sure.
For that, I'd like to see what other counties are doing, what the pay scale is
Sure.
in other counties,
Okay.
before we make a decision.
You know what?
Yeah, I just go back. You said you had 2 people to apply.
Yes.
What was wrong with them?
That was part.
They applied, they just didn't want, they turned it down because of the salary?
No, they didn't turn it down. I was saying that's the only reason I've only had 2 people apply.
But I'm saying the 2 people that did apply, what was the issue with them? Why you didn't hire either one of them?
I didn't feel like they were a good fit for our office, and that was the general consensus from everybody in my office. And I could get more specific, but I'd rather not. I feel like that's personal.
I just wanted to know, you had 2 people apply.
Anyway,
I think we get the personnel.
I make a motion that we table it till we get more information on that.
Yes, sir.
That's what we're talking about, the table, that means you abandon it.
Take it under
Oh,
advisement.
Take on advisement, yeah.
All right, we got a motion and a second, take it under advisement. Any more questions or comments? Attorney Rogers, there's nothing wrong with you adjusting your staff from an operations standpoint
Yes, sir.
and adding a person. But when you come and ask to take a salary, eliminate a position, and split it up, I think that's a little different.
Okay.
But you have the right to request an additional staff person outside of the $72,000 that's currently budgeted that we probably will take away. Okay?
Okay.
All right. I've got a motion and a second. Any other comments?
Do you think you could have that within the next 2 weeks?
Yes, yes, sure.
All in favor, show by sign of aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Anything, give us a shout.
Thank you, I appreciate your time.
Who do we miss? Mark, are you here? Mark's here. You don't have anything. Who do we miss? Don? Hold on now. One for the addition.
The COVID-19, we want to talk about that now.
We didn't ask South Delta. Did I have
No,
something?
you did not, South Delta's not in. We need to ask them.
Make a motion that, add something.
Second.
I have a motion to say, I don't want to just stand around, because I don't hear nothing about you, Mississippi.
You don't hear it.
I got a motion, second to add, South Delta as this one. All in favor, show by sign of aye. Any opposed? Motion carries, that's unanimous. South Delta.
Oh, the road name.
Well, you got to
We're
go.
gonna
Good
get,
go.
we're gonna try to get to that.
Good.
I hired him.
Yeah, we understand that. Should be a background.
Background on what? You taking no background, Jerry.
Yeah.
We're here. We're here, to request county, since I know that most anything that you would apply for, excuse me, my voice is going late. Anything that you would apply for, roads and bridges, that type of thing, is a category that is not funded at this time by CDBG. There are 1, 2, 3, and to get those funded is, well, we ain't gonna do it. Water and sewer takes precedent over everything. That's category 1. So we contacted the city and asked if was there some area in the city where we could utilize supervisor districts to fix some of this sewer problem that we all know the city has. And we have identified an area that is in the big plan of the sewer business west of Highway 1 that would include 4 of the districts. MA, period, does not go across Highway 1. That's District 3. No, it is 1, 2, 3, and 5. All 4 of them.
District 4, 2, 4 out.
It just doesn't go across. It doesn't go across 1, and these problems all across 1. So, the city has agreed to make the match, disperse the funds, and all that. If the county would apply for a $600,000 CDBG on behalf of the county to help the city in 4 of your 5 districts. Now, that's free.
I'm sorry?
That's free. They will,
So it's only 600,000?
yeah, max of 600, they'll match 1.2 million. The city, and what you all to work together, Mr. Whitney is going to have to, we probably do a local on that, to make sure that we can send funds back and forth, but Allison says that actually the city can disperse the funds and that. I don't know how that goes. I'd rather get a local government agreement with the city and the county to work together on this idea than anything else.
But on some of them, I see you got, so that's the ones that's located, where they're located throughout the city.
Yeah, let me explain, the little, red targets on that map, those are the, blocks and block groups that are deemed low and moderate income by HUD. And you have to be low and moderate income to be eligible for a CDBG. So we found out where the largest cluster of low and moderate income
block groups were located, and it just happens to touch 4 out of the 5 districts in that area.
Well, and I guess my next question would be, out of all those, you know, of course, we know how expensive that stuff is to fix and repair. How would they be rated? You know, when we done the ER things, you know, I was rated, we sent in our request and they listed them. On these, how would they, because of course you wouldn't get them all fixed with that amount of
Well,
money.
actually, anything that you do to the sewer system in that area is going to have an impact of benefit to that entire area. But no, we can probably narrow it down some.
That's what I'm saying, how are they gonna do that? Are they just the ones that's got the biggest population area? How would that merit after? That's pretty much all over the city.
It's probably going to turn out to be an area that is in the most dire circumstances as far as the sewer. A priority, you know, for the sewer system, which will set it there.
Well, I guess, again, and that's what it should be, but who makes that decision?
That is going to be an engineering decision.
And this way I'd like to see it, so, you know, instead of separate supervisor and councilman, you know, just because it's in my ward, it needs to be the ones that's in what shape.
Bill Burley and them have been, this is the project where they have the water from EPA order. So that's all the need that we need, that right there, and Burley and them have already done the engineering. So this is not gonna be, you know, any duplication, anything else, it's gonna be straightforward, no that.
All right, any other questions? Hey, stand in.
Mr. Goodwin, I'd just like to ask that if you have not already, the city of Greenville coordinated with their FEMA project manager from 4450. Most of the sewer repairs should be under a public assistance project. So take a look and see which is the better money.
Yeah, we've already sent a $9 million project to EDA on FEMA money that EDA got, and we've been told and assured that that's coming down the pipe. So that's 18 million. They got way more problems than that. And so, yes, they will be dragging some of that out of that because they can't get to it fast enough.
All right, any other questions? Need a motion and a second. Everybody understand? I got another hand, okay.
Can I ask a question?
1 second. I've got a motion, yes, and a second. Question.
So if people like you can understand, Mr. Tommy, what is that gonna start repairing our streets and everything underneath the flats? The sewer part?
Well, until you get under the street and get all that repaired, you can't do anything on the top.
Right, so the sewer is what's causing all these collapses all over town.
Well, the
isn't it?
river causing all the problems.
Got it.
The river is the real problem.
I have.
I got a motion and a second to approve. Now, you still want to keep talking, or you
No.
want to take it?
Well, we have resolution here, actually.
Yes, we
Thank
do.
you, sir.
All right, and I've got a motion and a second to approve to apply for this CDGP grant in assistance to help city, $600,000. Anything look you good, Mr. Turner?
Yes.
All in favor, show by sign of aye. Any opposed?
That wasn't the amount on the grant, what was the amount on the grant?
$600,000.
Yeah, 600,000.
So everybody voted.
And that, yeah, everybody voted, that's with the signature on the, miss anything, Mr. Go?
Yes.
One more resolution.
One more.
We have,
Sorry, because he knows I'm itching to do this. We have the match resolution. As the applicant, you have to do the resolution that says that the match will be there, even though the city is supplying the match.
your grant, it's your grant.
Huh?
That's where, you know, we're gonna do some local business.
So, Mayor back there,
He got on. How do we make sure we get the match money from them?
here's what you do, is you approve it, subject to, written notice from the city that they will match the $600,000.
Yeah.
That's gonna be done tomorrow night.
So,
Be done tomorrow night.
second, I've got a motion. I've got a motion
Subject to.
and a second. Everybody
Approved
clear
by
with
the
this?
citizens, they gonna pay the match.
You second.
So I've got a motion and a second. Everybody clearly understand this contingent upon the city
Yes, agreement to pay the match.
agreeing to pay the match. All in favor, show by sign of aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Mr. Tony, even though District 4 was excluded, we will be looking forward to a community development grant for District 4. In the future.
Yeah, sometimes it's a blessing to be in a position not needed.
Mr. President, so we need to hear from the mayor.
Better, man.
You said that you can't, that vote was made.
Yeah, we always put up the match forward. We have one CDGB already in the Boca Town area. The big skill area, $1.2 million. So this will most definitely help our sanitary sewer issues. And I'll be remiss if we didn't thank South Delta Planning and Development District, Daryl, Tommy, and Allison, what they do day in, day out to help.
That was like the first.
The question that you're gonna put up the money.
Of course, we got to get started. We got to put up that.
Hopefully the council will agree with the mayor just made. But, okay, we're good. It's unanimous vote. We're going to go ahead and support the city in this effort. And anything else from you all?
If the county would like, because Greenville is in Washington County, the county wanted to do 300,000, we most definitely welcome.
Time is crooked and we don't trust
I'll just say, there's two copies of each resolution, one original for y'all and one original for us. And we'll come back.
Thank you all for your and good luck with the city.
Mr. Perry was
Yeah,
there.
he was there.
No, oh no, Don Davis, no.
Mr. Perry was there. Okay, we're gonna start with the additions. What was the first addition?
COVID-19.
Okay, we're gonna start with the COVID-19 conversation. Of course, anyone is welcome to join in. Last week we met with the local municipalities. We missed a couple, but we're gonna make sure we follow with them and one department, which was Justice Court. The reason being, we wanted to bring the department heads together to get them to develop a plan as to how are you going to respond once the virus hits Washington County, since between the tax assessor, tax collector, circuit, and chancery court, and justice court, along with the sheriff department was there, the juvenile detention center was there, and the intent was to bring everybody together to develop a plan as to how do you respond once the virus hits. And we said, go with the analogy that the virus will be here in 6 days. And that was last week. So this Thursday will be the 6th day, and we will meet again. It was good that we had the representation from the medical community come into the meeting and have a conversation with us. With this meeting being streamed to the public, I'm going to ask Mr. Scott Christensen if he'll come up and share some things with us again, understanding that this is going out to the public and information that you would like to have people in our community know. Sure. You ready? You got the whole team. Introduce yourselves. Amy, Doc.
I'm Amy Walker. I'm the Chief
Come
Commercial
on up.
Officer at Delta Regional.
Come on up. Come on up, Doc.
Good morning. Good morning. So we've got, of course, Amy Walker, the chief nurse for the hospital, and Dr. Corkins with us today. He's our medical director. And, I'll just start it off by saying, we have had, of course, a lot of different meetings at the hospital getting prepared. And there's a lot of different moving parts to the things we're getting ready for and implemented. Of course, we've had 10 cases so far in the state of Mississippi. And, the best thing for the hospital to do is prepare for the inevitable. We, of course, have all different kinds of disaster plans and approaches in place, everything from supplies to staffing and a lot of different information. A couple of things to get into some of the specifics that we've done so far before I turn it over to Dr. Corkin is we have set up the hotline last week. It's 662-725-6000. And that's proven so far to be effective in responding to a lot of the concerns and calls throughout the community. So we encourage people, if they have any sort of question whatsoever, to call that number. And we'll be there to respond appropriately with the right information. A couple other specifics that you may have seen already is restricting visitor hours and the visitor policy to the hospital. Of course, we see whether it's on the local health department or the national level, the social distancing or the restriction of kind of movement and canceling of events and reducing crowds. I think the latest from the CDC is less anything over 50. And so those steps are, of course, proven to be effective in, limiting the spread of the disease. So, the guidelines from Delta Regional, we follow the Department of Health and the CDC pretty closely, and then translate some of those specifics into the actions we're taking. So, Dr. Corcoran, what are some of the specifics we've done so far?
Okay, so I think all of you are aware we've already had positive tests in the Delta and Greenwood, and then we had Pine Bluff. So it's just a matter of time. It probably will be that we will get a confirmed case this week, most likely. Also, you should assume that because we have not tested the population, it probably already is here. And so the best strategies from the national level are more and more pointing toward overreacting up front, so that if there's any possible way we can stop this spread, the best way to do it, the consensus is overreact now. And so there you have the CDC, less than 50 is okay. Social distancing, washing the hands, contacts, travel history, symptoms, fever, cough, so forth, all of those things. So we're on high alert looking for those things in our population. We have set the hotline up. We will have testing capability, but we do not have it satisfactorily yet. We do not. Nobody in the state does. But it's believed that this we will have increased capacity to do testing. So that's the real thing we're missing right now. When the patient comes and they think they have it or they could have it, we'll have a separate track in the emergency department just for those people. So if you come into the emergency department and you have respiratory symptoms and fever, you will be directed to a separate cordoned off area in the emergency department, and you'll get a flu test and something called mycoplasma test. And if both of those are negative, you're going to get instructions on how to go home and self-quarantine. I think my feeling is that the more we do now to keep people separate and stop the spread, the better we'll be. So as time goes on and we do have confirmed positives, we expect there will be hysteria, and we're ready for that. We expect there will be hundreds of people worried, no symptoms, and what they really need is information. So we consider that our responsibility to get information to these people. We'll be answering their questions on the hotline. As the call volume increases, we're going to increase our capacity to talk to multiple people at one time, and we'll just have to staff that thing and try to get as much information to people as we can. We feel like that's one of the ways we can fight the panic. Most people are not going to get sick and have to go to the hospital. Most people who even get the disease are going to think they have a cold. That's it. 80%, really. And the people who are at most high risk of serious results from this disease, that would be anybody over 60, anybody with all of anyone with underlying medical problems, chronic medical issues, especially pulmonary or cardiac issues. Those are people at high risk. They just need to be especially careful to observe this social distancing and hygiene. If you touch something, you really need to wash your hands. Some of the
preparations you can use for sanitizers for your hands have a lasting ability. They last up to 4 hours. They kill everything on your hands for up to 4 hours. But the point is, we expect a big volume. We expect to be taxed on this. We think we're going to be really challenged to deal with the numbers of people, and we're ready to do what we need to do.
My question is to Scott.
Mm-hmm.
How difficult is it, I'm still back to Greenwood. Greenwood is tested when you drive through this, they got tents or something, you drive through there and they test you in the car. I think that's where I want to be tested, so I can leave until.
That's what we, that's exactly right.
Yeah, that's kind of what we've seen to be the best way so far. I think some other states have started that where it's more prevalent. We are in the process of setting that up and being ready for when the volume starts to hit. So that will come and we can get that done. However, right now there's of course the limited availability of tests. So even if we were to have that set up today, I think getting a sample and sending it out is still 1 to 3 days turnaround time. So any other advice on sort of how the testing works?
We're allowing the volume to drive what we do. And so far, I can say there's been very low volume in terms of people just showing up, being in a panic. But the ideal thing to do is test in the car. So we have our tent ready. We have everything ready. So the issue has been testing availability.
Give us the call line and we'll the process.
So I had the phone this weekend actually and got a remarkable number of calls. Most people, like Dr. Corky said, really just need education, and the message is if you're not acutely ill and this isn't something you normally seek treatment for, stay at home and stay away from people. And then I had a lot of calls this weekend. Unfortunately, social media is not always our friend in a situation like this. There's been a lot of false information spread on social media. Several posts. Delta Regional has confirmed case. We're on lockdown. We're not on lockdown. Like Scott said, we do have some more strict visiting procedures, but always we're there to service everyone's needs. So just trying to call people and tell them, get your information from Delta Regional, get your information from the Department of Health, but please don't get it from Facebook.
What's the number?
662-725-6000.
So the will be stopped and and I can be out.
That's correct. Well, and we coordinate also.
Susan, he just answers we can.
I just ask for if people, so that people know that they're not gonna, if somebody's sick, they're not gonna be able to get into the emergency room, and those that are in the emergency room don't have to be afraid that somebody's gonna walk in with this.
They have a protocol.
Right, that's right.
We do have a protocol. It's a new process. If you've ever been to the ER before, instead of going all the way back to the desk and following the normal process, you're stopped immediately. If you have any respiratory symptoms at all, then you are given a mask and hand sanitizer. If you have something like a sprained ankle or a heart attack, then you bypass all that and go through the regular ED. So we have 2 different tracks to protect everyone.
Okay, Ms. Griffin.
Yes, Doctor, would you look around this room and at this board and tell us whether or not we are adhering to or not in compliance with the protocol?
You just need to look on his face before that's all together.
33 people here already counted.
A
few more walk in.
He talking about the social.
Yeah. So 16 is, and we're gonna have that conversation as we go forward with our meetings, and that'll be part of the discussion. We'll have how we proceed in the coming weeks.
But I think you have recommendations on what we can do, is that right?
It can be done, just 6 feet between people and sanitizer on the hands, a lot of cleaning on the surfaces, and when everyone's through, wash those hands again. We're going to use an interactive, some social media methods. We communicate back and forth from a distance. We'll figure it out as a board. Is there anything else?
Oh,
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
So, Doctor, when we met on Friday, you gave the visiting hours. Can you give those? I know you said they changed, and I just like the public to be aware of what those hours are. So could you, give those hours, please?
So for now, and, you know, like I said, subject to change, but for now, visiting hours for the regular floor, so non-ICU patients, is between 10 and noon, and then again between 4 p.m. and 8 p.m.
That is effective now.
Only two visitors are allowed per patient. The ICU visiting hours are at 10 o'clock and 8 o'clock, and they last for 30 minutes. So.
And the last
And
question.
no, and I'm sorry, one more thing, no children under the age of 12, are being allowed in the hospital unless of course they're a patient.
Yeah, I left that part out here. And the last, thing is, I think you said, doctor, that we had some hand sanitizer at the hospital. Did I get that wrong?
That's correct.
And so can the
Not
public
expensive.
access that?
When they come in, they're all gonna get that.
Okay, but, so for me, I couldn't just go up and say, I want some hand sanitizer. I just want to clear those things up, so would you?
We don't have that much.
Oh, yeah, out there.
Two things. My son had to go to the Delta Beach emergency room. He thought he broke his wrist, but he really he didn't fracture, he just sprung it. But it's gonna get your attention. Nobody offered me no sanitizer when I walked in, and I just went on back to my son's room. So he was in the emergency. I just want to let you know, whoever in front of this didn't give me any sanitizer. The other piece is just to the board. I think we need to make sure we add this to our website. The phone number, and also what I saw on your website about the visiting hours should be on our website as well for anyone. So just so we in Washington County can be abreast, and anyone who does visit our website can know exactly what we're doing, what the other regions doing for safety.
Any other questions?
I'll be on board with some of that.
Come on.
You know, like she said, she walked in and said that things how you divorce some of
To
that.
clarify, if you have respiratory symptoms, you get the respiratory track.
We got a couple of questions from the audience. We got Dr. McCoy and we got Ms. Taylor.
Good morning again. My question is, will the people who are symptomatic be able to come and get free testing when they call? Will they also be able to get free testing in the Arcola Health Clinic?
Right now, through the national guidelines that we've seen, the specific test for the virus is free. And that's kind of been the theme throughout. And so when we get the drive-through set up and some of those things, that'll be the appropriate process to follow. Now, if you do go to your primary care provider, they should be following the same protocols.
But my question
So give an example of what would happen at the Arcola Health Center if someone were to come there.
Well, so the CDC recommendations involve things like a respiratory rate, temperature 102, obviously coughing, fatigue. And so there are clinical criteria that they are looking for to qualify to get the test. It's not everyone who has a cold that's going to get a test.
I understand this. That's not the question I'm asking. The question I'm asking is for the uninsured or underinsured. Will the test be free?
We're told it's free.
The second thing is, what are your plans as the county for those people who are not on Facebook or does not get the DBT or does not listen at the local news? Do you have a plan for the increased educational awareness, like to churches, other small groups, so that they won't be, that they can use valuable information as to increase their social distances more than 6 feet, which is not done right as we speak. So I think we need to address other avenues to get the word out so that we don't have this hysteria and overwhelming the hospital.
Outstanding. We met last week and we said we'd meet this week and develop those plans for communicating and how we move forward to make sure not only that we're safe here in Washington County at the courthouse, but we're safe throughout Washington County as a whole. So we'll be looking at that and we'll figure out what that strategy will be as far as communicating. Okay? Mr. David.
I really didn't have a question. I was pointing to her.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But I do. a thought about one. Have y'all considered how this is going to affect the census?
Well, no, we haven't.
Okay.
No, we haven't.
I think I saw articles more about maybe being postponed.
Oh, well, no, the letters have come out already, and people have started to respond to the census online, and some people have actually filled the forms and mailed them back. So the census is rolling as we speak. And I think every household in Washington County should receive a census pack.
Yeah.
And they've already. Huh? I'm through. You raise your hand, I'm gonna stop.
I would suggest that, number one, if the county will put info@lifeinthedelta.com on anything that's going out from the county. We have a huge list of people that we e-blast to, that we work with the hospital constantly to get that information out. And it goes across the Delta. Number two, I think somebody needs to be working with the local media from the radio, televisions, and all that. Since the churches canceled all their services yesterday, are you?
Our church didn't cancel.
There were a lot of churches that canceled yesterday. People didn't go. They were broadcasting online. That being said, do y'all have a list of all the various churches that you can communicate with, because they're in communication with their people via internet, cell phones, or whatever.
We have a list of every church in the county. When we get together on Thursday, we'll discuss that as well. But like you were saying, most churches did suspend service. We've had a call this morning that the national convention that was scheduled to be held here this week has been canceled as well. And I think that was what, a week event, a 3 or 4 day event. So the word is getting out. People are being receptive to the recommendations from the CDC when it comes to gatherings. And we'll just have to do a better job as that number has gone from 200 to 50. And if it goes to 5 or 6, we'll have to, adhere to that.
Maybe getting this out to the radio station, where to go from.
I think he said we would do on this coming meeting, we would actually make sure that the media was there. They were part of the communications, because hopefully we come away from that meeting, we will have a strategy as to how we do business. And the other surrounding 5 municipalities will have a strategy as well to make sure we all are doing the same thing. Anything else? Go ahead. Dave.
As the Emergency Management Director for Washington County, I'm here to offer my assistance. This is what we do. I have a proclamation of a local emergency that I would like to present to the board in reference to the COVID-19. In doing that, that will open all the doors to all the assistance that may be necessary. I will present this and recommend this board approve that proclamation.
And that proclamation does what?
Declares a local emergency.
Okay. Now, everyone's aware that we are on state emergency throughout the entire state of the city about the government, right? Yeah. And, anything else, Dave?
Yes, sir. As far as let me address a few things with the COVID-19. FEMA, emergency management is in a supporting role to Emergency Support Function 8, which is the health and medical community. Everything that we do is going to be to support them. The biggest thing we're doing right now is we're going to be doing some mitigation, and basically, when you look at mitigating, you look at, can we stop it? Yes or no. If we can't stop it, what can we do to lessen the effects of it? So that's what we're doing. We will be communicating all their information as well throughout the community. We have a pretty good distribution list. Stuff y'all get, typically the media, a lot of churches are on it, a lot of people are on it. We've got a good coverage on information. As far as the request for more public information, we have way more means of getting information out to people so much faster nowadays than we used to. Some people just need to get their head out of the sand and find out what's going on. We don't have the people to go door to door and knock on the door. Say, hey, you know what's going on? These people got, our part is to provide the information, the public plays a part in this too. They have to seek out the information and find out what to do. So as far as mitigation goes, the effects, as Dr. Corbin stated, Corkin, I knew that. Right now, it seems to be affecting the elderly and those with the medical conditions that he mentioned. Those are the people we need to focus on. Those are the people that we need to keep isolated. So what we're doing is we're going to push out their information for them. Everything they give us, we're going to push it out. And that's what Susan's talking about doing. We've just got to spread it out and put it everywhere where you can help us see it somewhere. And then we've got to protect these people. Now, while we're doing those mitigation efforts and providing public information, we will also be working with the state to do planning for things that might come up next, depending on how far we go with it and how bad it gets. Then there's other things we will have to address. So we will be having another meeting at some point in time to start discussing those things. But for right now, what we're doing is helping them share their information. We're keeping up with what the state's doing and what the federal government's doing, and just try to get the word out.
We need to accept that.
We need a motion, please, President.
I move that we approve the proclamation of existence for Washington County for COVID-19 pandemic for Washington County.
It's 18 or 19.
19, I'm sorry.
Second. I have a second. All in favor, should I sign by? Any opposed? Motion carries. We'll be meeting again here in Washington County on Thursday. We'll decide, I think the time's going to be 10 o'clock. We're going to have to look at a location to cover a small group, not over 50, Doc. But I think we had maybe, 20 the other day, 25? And hopefully that number won't exceed that, and I'm pretty sure the numbers by Thursday will change. So we'll adhere to that, but we'll let everyone know. We'll get an update, and we'll develop the plan going forward from how do we conduct business as governmental entities, how do we protect not only just the people that work with us, but the community at large, and just how do we move forward as a board with communications, meetings, and anything else we do in the county. And we'll discuss that and put some things in place Thursday. It'll involve travel training, anything else you all can come up with. Anything that you all need or need to discuss with the people who are here to help us. We thank you all so much. Everything you do. Thank you. If anything changes, you need anything, let us know. Like David was saying, we do have an excellent tool for communication.
I have one more item I kind of need to throw in the middle of this. We have received public assistance for the January 10th and 11th tornadoes. We've spent roughly about $100,000 during that event. We still got some roads to fix, so that number's going to go up. But we have to send in this request for public assistance to be added to the list. That's the blank form. I got that email right before we came over here. So if y'all will approve that document, we will basically approve.
I got a motion to approve, and I got a second. The number 100,000 on it.
Sir?
Is the number 100,000 on it?
No, sir.
No. All right. Okay, we're gonna add it. Sorry.
What's the threshold on that? What number?
Our threshold right now with FEMA for the county is 361,000 something.
But we're at 100.
We're at 100, but
You expect to go up.
the public utilities numbers count. Twin County and Belt Electric turned in over $600,000. So we're way over our threshold. So we're in.
Good enough. I need a motion. I already got a motion second.
Yes.
We're good. Anything else, David? All in favor, should I sign up? Any opposed? That's unanimous. Motion carried. All right, what is that for COVID-19?
Supervisor Brooks, various procedures.
For the various procedures, I'm gonna let the attorney sit everything.
All right, she's gonna let him send us a memo on the variance procedure, the way it's recommended by statute.
By the Washington County adopted in the
I agree.
You will?
Yeah.
Good.
This is what this board got.
Okay.
Platte Road.
Yes, this is Lovelace. Are we all familiar with Lovelace off of, this is one of our companies here in Washington County. It used to be called Plant Chemicals. I got a call from, the company about the roads called Platte Road, and they're making a request that we repair the road. Mr. Perry had an opportunity to look at the road. Could you come up for a moment, sir? He and I went and visited the road. My biggest concern is we got a company in Washington County that's concerned of, laying the road. We most definitely need to address that issue.
Is there a problem with this county road, Mr. Vick?
Yeah, it is, and it always have been a problem with Platte Kimber Road, cause those big trucks in and out of Platte. And on the road, it's a chip and seal road. And I gave steps to the brook that we could pave it.
Right.
4 inches thick like we did, the right plant.
Well, that's concrete. That's concrete.
The concrete.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Is that what you mean, or do you mean pavement? When you say
Asphalt.
yeah,
Asphalt.
asphalt.
And I think the plan was to transition some of the roads, a lot of them, from chip and seal to asphalt. All right, so what's the deal? What's the problem?
I got with APAC, we gave them the mileage, how long the road was, and the width of it.
Yeah.
They gonna get back with us and see what it would call for a 4-inch overlay.
How long is the road?
It's 2/10 of a mile.
Okay, so you're not going all the way to Seven Oaks, you're just going from Raceway. Well, that's not chip and seal, that was my next question, I noticed, at one point we had done some work on that road because they needed for emergency purposes possibly.
We got it half.
Yeah, okay. Well, I would say most of everything goes out what he's talking about. The other way, I was just talking about for emergency purposes to come out that way. And I was just making sure it was still where they can go that way.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Okay.
it's good.
All right, where's the problem?
Just waiting on APAC and getting with the board and, getting to go ahead to.
I would just put it on the normal list.
Yeah.
Well, the only reason I got a call, management reached out to us. They're really asking to get this done. I talked to Melanie Patterson, I forgot what her title is, but the concern is, they actually need to come to the board to get this repaired, and I told them, of course not. Washington County Board of Supervisors most definitely want to cater to any industry here in Washington County.
So we can handle all that in-house.
We can have all of it in-house.
Yeah, but all you gotta do is schedule it and make it happen.
So what is the time frame you're looking, so I can report back to them, and let them know where we are and when we can get, and I know besides the rain, are we looking after the rain stops?
We got some projects we got to finish that we didn't finish up yet.
When APAC shut down.
Right.
All right, so they back online this week.
Yeah, they.
Okay.
We
How
got
long
to
you
finish
gonna
the project Stoneville on Lee Road. Probably take a day to finish it. And, we said that we were gonna go and do Meadowwood.
Yeah.
And go later. That was the next project.
Okay.
So within 30 days?
This spring, this summer. Yeah.
Don't forget, I see all of that is directed north, don't forget about south.
I got it.
We can find something down there.
I got you.
I'll tell you too.
Yeah.
Mr. President, I do have a question, just so I understand the protocol. When I run for projects like that, do I just go to the road manager, he do the project, or do I need to bring it back to the board? What's the protocol?
You and you doing right, you all would have a conversation about it. And, if there's something of a higher priority, we'll have a conversation. If you'd like to bring it to the board, fine, but there may be someone else with a pressing project, like the ones that we named south, north of town, is a residential community. That is a priority and it's important, but we don't want to do anything that's going to hinder commerce.
That's why I just want to make sure I was doing whatever the protocol is.
Yeah, but if you have a problem, then wrong people to phone, make a phone call, we'll always do just what you said, work with jobs. Anything else, Mr. Gray?
Yeah. Walker Road. What was the plan with Walker Road? Closing it?
Well, we gotta fix the way on Walker Road that does family can get in and out. And we're gonna put a cover in that. I mean, it's just common, man, we're gonna go, you know, like a bridge, that's a little place there, but we gotta go and we almost could put the cover in before we take that out, just put a little circle around.
Right, that's right.
Now, that's what we talked about last week, you,
Yeah.
on putting that cover in and giving them an alternate route.
Right.
There's a cost associated with it, but you cannot have a family.
Y'all talking about Walker Road?
Yeah.
No, we have.
Well, yeah, he's gonna get with you.
Okay, don't talk about this, unless I know.
Listen, Friday, he called Friday.
I called him
Friday, but, we're looking at, we haven't even taken a look at it, but we will look at doing an alternate route as far as something temporary, we just discussed it, and doing final design. Something, I think we're gonna do that with a lot of bridges, see what we get with the, Drainage Commission, and, some of the, we have to have access to them, so doing something temporary, not the final design, but not waste so much money where you do a big project and you have to take your project out, something to be reusable. So, we're gonna be looking at that, those alternatives.
Okay. Anything else, Mr. Fuller?
I guess the whole board knows that Dale Lewis getting ready to retire. Dale Lewis.
Yeah. Now we need to go ahead.
It's a system.
And I'm gonna need a assistant.
Yeah.
Have you started looking around? Have you kind of identified a person or looking
Well,
at your advertise, like what are you looking to do?
The way it always been did, it always been left up to me. And with you all approval.
It's an appointed position now.
Right.
Okay.
Are you looking to do in-house move up?
I'm planning, that's what I wanted. Yeah.
All right, well, you all get together, and of course, it's an appointed position. Okay. Anything else, Mr.
That's it.
All right, hold on a second. Ms. Anderson, you were going to contact him about the turnout at the event.
Yes, I contacted Mr. Eric Morgan. He didn't see a problem with it, but it has to be the district state engineer to see it. He hasn't come back.
We're ready to roll this week. We need the doctor.
Okay, well, I'll call him again, I'll follow up. I call him, next week.
Okay. Otherwise, we move on. Ms. Perry. Otherwise, we'll move on.
I just, like I had in the law, you probably noticed too, to do these bypass, we had to get permission to the land.
Yeah, you got it right away.
They have a procedure. They have a procedure, a right way procedure, but we trying to make sure that we get this expedited, you know, not a 2-3 month process, but immediate process.
Okay. All right.
That was all I had.
Thanks, sir.
I think we did in closed session, more than contract.
All right, we want to add contract negotiation. Executive session. Need a motion?
So moved.
And a second.
So, second.
Right, move second to add contract negotiations to executive session. All in favor, show that sign.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Don Davis.
Huh?
Good morning.
Good morning.
I have one item I wanted to get approved by the board. It's an access control system for DHS. And I have a quote here, proposal here from Bobby Allen, Security Plus. And this is to secure 7 doors at the Department of Human Services with a mag lock system.
This is the only
This is the only proposal I have.
Wow.
Yeah. It's a grant.
Yeah, it's 2 weeks today. So I'll take a look at it.
Have you requested your membership?
Not yet, but I
Now, let me do this. You've exposed that number.
Yeah. Well,
No, he did. You all talk.
Yeah.
Y'all get together, please.
You went back to him.
Anything else there?
That's it.
No one saw this.
Yes, you can. Yeah.
Mr. Davis, can I make
Oh, let me get him right quick. Mr. Davis.
Ms. Davis, we also have a door coming out of booking, right at my booking, and need to
be repaired.
To be repaired with the piece on it, with the magnetic piece, just like just like DHS coming out of booking, you know what I'm talking about?
The regional
At the
correctional.
regional corrections.
Exit door.
Right there. The new door that we put up, when we was out there.
Okay.
And come in the booking, come
Right,
right
so
out.
there's no mag light on it, right?
We need-
Yes, I can get quotes for that.
Thanks, sir.
All right, Brooks.
Okay, Mr. Davis, in the future, when we get quotes, just make sure we have 2 quotes and preferably sealed. You have to do that. But always bring 2, don't just ever bring 1, because really, you wanna keep it, fair across the board, okay?
Anyone else from Mr. Davis?
Well,
Go ahead, sir.
I was gonna offer something, this on these quotes, on the quote process. When we receive these quotes, let's, submit copies to, the county administrator in advance so we can ensure that we are,
In compliance.
in compliance, okay?
Okay.
Also, always do that in advance.
Okay, anything else, Mr. Davis?
No, did you want to address the race car? I mean, the track out there?
Okay, the race, yeah, the racetrack, we have, we're put up the new, stand.
Storage container.
Storage container, yeah.
For the press box.
For the press box, you're putting doors and glass in it.
Yes, you know, the county y'all purchased the container and we've been doing all the labor. But we've come to a point where we need doors to seal it and the glass for the windows. All of this stuff was tore up during the storm. And we are putting it back, but we are putting it back bigger and nicer. My question is, can we get the assistance of the county to the paint, the windows, and the glass? Is all. The last time we met, I said around 42 to 4,500. We have spent, y'all have spent, the 24 is all we spent, $2,400. So it's still gonna stay into that budget. It's not gonna increase over 4,500. Because we have purchased all the electricity sockets, the furniture that was torn up, all of that stuff we have already bought and replaced. And as a matter of fact, when I leave here today, I have got to go to Mill Supply and purchase $859 worth of electricity stuff that was tore up during the storm that we had to have replaced before we can even have the electricity turn back on.
But y'all, that's on.
But that's on us. We haven't asked for any of that. We're just asking for the remainder of the glass, the doors, and the paint
That's going on the bill.
to finish the press box.
Mr. Attorney?
Well, the contract, provides that the keyboards are to, make any repairs, make the maintenance, and the contract itself is only $2,400 a year, $200 a month. And certainly, the board can legally do it, but however, the purpose of the contract is to protect the public. And when the board, circumvents that contract, it no longer protects the public interest. And I would encourage the board to adhere to the contract, to protect the interests of the public. It has nothing to do with legality, but to protect the interests of the public, the board should adhere to its contract.
But beyond,
Let me do this here. Let me get him to come in.
one thing I'm saying, you know, it was torn up during the tornado, we just repairing. If another tornado comes through and tears the bleachers up, that possibly could be $200,000 replaced, they're not gonna be able to do that, and we do that. This is due to a tornado, so I would make a motion that we complete it, to not exceed what we've already, approved on, to not exceed that, and just for clarification, y'all are just requesting for the material and y'all are
That's
paying
it,
it.
just
I
material.
make a motion that we proceed finishing up what was torn up by the tornado, but not to exceed the original amount of $4,500.
I got a motion? I've got a motion.
Second.
I've got a second question.
My only concern at this last board meeting, y'all came to the board and y'all told us, I asked, what do y'all mean? You said, I don't know where it was, y'all said, you just need a container, we're gonna do everything else, that's what you told this board. And so now you coming back again, and you said that initially, then everybody been on the same page.
I might have not worded it correctly.
Okay, but
That is correct. I might have not worded it
You did
correctly.
say that.
The container to actually be
That's right.
functional.
But you said to this board, this
Well, I
is all
apologize,
we
ma'am.
want. Now, I was very clear with you, and I second his motion because you said it's all you want.
Yeah.
Now I'm coming back again with something additional. So my concern is I'd like for you to be transparent with us and not come back and forth.
Yes,
The
ma'am.
person just constantly adding on and adding on, and every week, something
Yeah.
new. But again, at the same time, going back to what Mr. Griffin said, I think the county is being very, very kind to you guys. Your rent is only $200 for a debt facility. You can't beat that. I just think that, I think it's something you guys need to invest in because in your contract, you did say that you were going to do this, you're going to do that. My own.
We have provided all labor.
Yes, I understand you provide all labor, and I do support you guys. It's just that when you're not transparent with me, I really just don't like that. Okay, when I asked you, is there anything else you gonna need? You said this is it. You said it.
Yes, I did. And I might have
Anyone else? Anyone else? All right, I got a motion and a second to stay within the pre-approved budget that will allow this.
What pre-approved budget we gave you? I don't think we voted on was to give them, the container. We didn't give them no additional budget.
What was budgeted, man?
Yeah, I think that we said not to exceed 45. We approved a container, but we said we would exceed that because we didn't have an exact cost.
No, we said, but we were only purchasing a budget. I mean, we're only purchasing a container. It was not for anything else. So my concern is now we switching up, so it wasn't a pre-approved budget. It really was to purchase a container, not to buy anything else. So now we didn't have a pre-approved budget.
What's the additional amount over here? What's the additional amount? You write it down, Scott. What's the addition?
$2,600.
Additional 2,600 you've already spent.
We've already spent
2,400, and that's the 45. Any other questions or comments? Okay, motion
Hold
and a
on,
second.
that's not adding up. That's
$5,000. Okay, yeah, that's right. Not to exceed.
Not to exceed
Not
45.
to exceed, not to exceed over the 45.
All right, so we can spend up to the 45. And what number is that? What's the remaining? 21.
21.
All right.
So in the minutes, it says a budget, or does it say container in the minutes?
It specified container.
Well, if it says container, then that's all was supposed to be personal, was a container. Now, anything else was not a part of the budget. So let's be clear, let's not make things up. So it's not a pre-approved budget, it was just only to purchase a container. So if you said a pre-approved budget, that's something you're creating today. So that's not pre-approved. So
That was, because I don't think we had an actual number on the container then, that's why we said it like that. Well, maybe I'll rephrase it. Make a motion to approve, to complete the building. The building was blown away, which was part of Washington County's property. It was blown away during the tornado. We're just replacing what was blown away during that. So right now, we've approved the container to go up there.
So you're amending your motion.
I'm amending my motion to whatever, it's gotta have a door added to it, it's gotta be functional. So to do that.
All right, so I've got a amendment to the motion before I get a second. Mr. Turner.
Yeah, and let me just clarify, and because I hear Ms. Kilgore keep talking about labor. That contract that Mr. Kilgore has with the county provides, Mr. Kilgore will provide maintenance and labor, including materials as well. This county is not due down to provide anything. I heard Mr. Gordon mention bleachers. Even if those bleachers are destroyed during that contract, it's the duty, and it's spelled out, it's the duty of Mr. Kilgore to replace or repair those bleachers, and for the county to simply inspect to ensure that they are safe. That's what the contract provides. That has been the contract since 2018, and that Mr. Kilgore executed. This county is not required. It said he take the facility as is, and as is means that you are to provide all the service.
One second. And what we do is, as said, maintenance. This is not general maintenance. I have lots of rental property, and if a roof gets blown off, renters, they don't put the roof back. That's my responsibility. So this was due to a storm. This is our property. When he leaves this, that's still Washington County property. And that's all we're doing. This is not general maintenance. This is due to, act of God. So that's, so anyway, that's why I'm saying we need to replace it.
One other question, Mr. Goodwin, but do you have insurance on any of the projects?
We do have insurance, but it is personal injury insurance. It does not, extra insurance we have to add for like our buildings and anything like that is additional that we would have to add. It's not the, what the required insurance that we carry.
I think in the future, I think that's something you may want to look at.
We are in the
I can
process.
see that we're not really doing too much more. We're actually doing more than what the contract consists
Actually, the
of.
contract does state in there that if there is a storm issue or damage, weather damage, that it could be in the min.
Sorry. I didn't hear what said it again. I just understand what you're saying.
In the contract, I believe it stated that if the storm did tear it up, that we could come back to the county and re-amend the contract to fix it.
That is not true.
That's not true? It may be an old contract that I was reading yesterday.
Let me say this, we own the ABW building, we own U South Marine. Both of them, we put over $1 million on roofs, and we rent those out, just like this gentleman here, due to storms. That's what we just got finished with. So this is just a lot smaller scale than what we've done, but ABW was well in the hundreds of thousands of dollars on that. New South was hundreds of thousands. So this is just a smaller scale, and all of that was due to the storm.
But in fairness, they definitely paying in excess of $30,000 a month.
Well, in fairness, the money will make that versus this.
Hope it's gotten the score. You've been through, we don't know.
I'm thinking about this, Mr. Gordon. I didn't have a problem with your parents. My thing is just being transparent with me, okay?
Yes, right.
When I asked that question, you said that was it. And so that's what we vote on for container. My next question, are you coming back for anything else?
No, once we get this building operational, I will not be coming back for anything
And
else.
what is the difference amount we're looking at?
Around 21.
45, 21, if you need it, so you ratify.
I would say let's stay with our original, it's 45, right? So 21, I will approve, my motion be up to $2,100 more.
That was your amendment that I hadn't got a second on. Let's give one question before I get the second on this motion. Without the press box, will the facility be usable?
No, because we have no way to.
The answer is what?
No, it is not usable.
All right, I've got a motion already for an amendment. I need a second. I got it.
Can you restate this motion, please?
Make a motion to approve up to amend the motion to approve up to $2,100 on the completion of the press box.
And I got a second for this. Any other questions? If not, all in favor of the amended motion, show that sign of aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That's unanimous. Motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Gilmore.
Thank you, I appreciate it very much.
Anything else, Ms. Davis?
That's all I have.
Thank you. What else you got?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, it is. I come this morning for the board to submit settlements for February 2020 in the amount of $775,114.01.
That's why we like
Second received.
Got a motion received. I got a second, Supervisor Ward. Any questions, anyone? All in favor of
More information for your question. The amount received, is that in compliance with we've been getting about this time annually?
Any other questions?
Yeah, question.
If not, all in favor? All in favor of the motion, show by sign of aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Is it?
No.
No, I have no change. I have a concern though. As you know, the tax sale will be held April 6th. And that is a room full of people, almost 100. So I had a phone call asking what we're gonna do. We have an option to go to August or postpone it until the month.
Could you go to a wider building? So if you went to the convention center and spread everybody out, would that suffice? Yeah, I mean, it will satisfy the 6 feet requirement, wouldn't it?
We already have about 100 people.
Postpone.
We can postpone it to August because, most counties do hold theirs in August. And that'll give your taxpayers longer to pay their taxes, the ones that have not been paid.
I got a question. Most counties do August. Why is Washington County April?
Well, we have an option, and it's been April ever since I got here.
Well, I mean, one time you changed it.
I changed it, supervisor did not like it, so.
Then the school go ahead and say that they were adversely impacted by it, and they have to change it.
We'll know about the school districts and what's the pleasure of the board.
What's that, what's the dollar amount that usually comes in at that time? That's the remainder of
It's millions of dollars.
But that's the only thing you're looking at, you're postponing those millions of dollars.
Well, I mean, you're also,
It's not.
no, it's not to you. And it also gives your taxpayers time to pay their taxes currently.
Nobody get caught up on.
Nobody get caught up on,
Yeah, none of that.
I would just have to inform everyone that we're going to postpone it to August.
All right, I've got a motion to postpone to August what? 3rd?
No, it's
the last Monday in August.
That'll be 31st of August. August 31st. All right, I've got a, do I have a second for the motion? August 31st, I say. I've got a motion. Yes, Brooks made the motion.
Second.
Yes. All in favor of August 31st postponed date? Show us how. Any opposed? Motion carries, that's unanimous. August 31st, you'll handle the communication.
Yeah, let's go ahead, it'll be okay because it worked out tonight. Thank you all.
We got an executive session to discuss contract litigation.
If we miss a pay, this, come on, sister.
Well, I know that y'all were just talking about Hayes Dent just being discussed as far as contracts are concerned, and Mr. Dent, a lot of people didn't know Mr. Dent had been hired because the DDT didn't really report on it. So my concern about that situation is, when I talked to Mr. Dent about what his plans were going to be for Washington County, he really didn't have any. He doesn't work for another county, he doesn't work for another city. It's like we're throwing money out the direction, to the curb. When I asked him why and what he wanted to do for Washington County, he said, well, his biggest thing was he couldn't win the District 22 Senate race, so he wanted to start doing this.
And she's telling us what somebody told her. And she told me we got a name out here.
That's what Mr. Dent said to me.
But he said it to you.
Yeah, and we were gonna write an article.
The issue is, there's a name called and there's a statement made.
Ms. Brooks, can you turn that phone off, please? Your phone is on.
What you got? What you got?
Okay.
And my thing is, can we allow the statement to be made?
Are we talking about an employee of this county?
No.
Are we talking about
Potential contract.
a contractor of this county?
Well, when y'all brought Mr. Dent in and DDT didn't report on it.
You can let her say what she wants, but I don't recommend board members' comments in response.
Okay.
Are you on the agenda to?
No. I'm at the end on miscellaneous, I think.
Well, if she has some comments about someone, if she can make them, but I would recommend that person be afforded the same opportunity to come in at a later date and respond. Number two, I don't recommend any board member comment or respond to anything that she states.
Well, I thought it was going to be discussed in open board today, but it's now been moved to executive session. So, nobody has anything more to say except other than when I talked to him, what his comments were about our county. When I talked to him, what his comments were about what he was trying to do. So in light of whatever this virus is and everything else, it's just being prudent with what we're getting ready to do. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, anyone else? Did we miss anyone? Let's start.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We have expended 44.6% of our budget through March 16th, compared to a plan of 50%. Our cash balance as of March 16th, $21,486,310.50. Our receipts deposited March 3rd through the 16th total $194,994.01. I am requesting board approval of our claims docket totaling $426,880.10.
So moved.
Second.
I got a motion and a second to approve claim pay. All in favor, show by sign.
I got a question, and I know we talked about boards releasing, but when they prepare the claims doc, if they can, would they just have a description of what that is? I know we got the invoice, the PO and everything, and y'all may know, but when we're looking through it, I know she don't have a lot of room to do it, but like some things, they.
No, it's not her having the wrong, it's the system, the way the system is set up.
There's no way we can describe it any better. So at each thing, we just have to ask, what is this for? Okay, gotcha, okay.
Anything else? All in favor, show by sign. Any opposed? Motion carries. Unanimous.
Requesting travel for David Burford of EMA to attend the annual statewide fire coordinators meeting on May 12th, 2020 in Pearl, Mississippi with estimated cost of $25.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second, question. Anybody, we approve travel to probably to large gap.
Go ahead and do that.
Okay. All in favor, show by sign. All in favor, show by sign.
So it's, if they cancel, I mean, we'll pay. Yeah.
No, it's up to the end of the council. Yeah. Yes, unanimous.
You need to go with, I think there's too many people in there, I just walk out.
Anything else, Ms. Carter?
Requesting.
Did you approve or you cancel?
We approve.
That's what I thought.
Approved.
We approve. I just want to make sure that I'm taking the notes.
Come on, Ms. Carter, sorry for this disruption.
Requesting travel for county supervisors to attend the Mississippi Association of Supervisors Minority Caucus Annual Education Conference on April 22nd through the 24th in Jackson, Mississippi with estimated cost of $2,500.
So moved.
Second.
I got a motion second, those last together. Take me out. All in favor, show by sign. Any opposed? That's unanimous. Please, sir. Please, sir. Sorry, Ms. Carter.
Come on.
Requesting payment to Fort Ice Construction Company in the amount of $102,753.71 for the Washington County Woodsaw Mill Road project.
More information.
So
This is the first meeting,
I'm sorry.
this the first payment, the final payment of it.
I think it's the first one that they, it's the first.
What's
up, man?
This is the first payment.
What's up?
And the second.
Second.
So we just got three payments, so just, I'm just
I
asking.
know it's the second.
Who made the motion?
This one I
Second.
discovered too.
I make the motion.
Second.
And he said,
Go ahead. There was a question about, was it 4 payments or 3? Do you have that information with you?
Who made the motion?
Ben.
Vincent, I'm sorry, and Gordon says.
It's a large bridge, I think the total amount was like
It is.
700 and something thousand.
It is, it's $769,040.
We got two more breaks.
Yeah, but you have 2 payments. Yes.
All right, thank you.
You want to carry it?
All in favor of the motion, show by sign of aye. Any opposed? Motion carries, that's unanimous.
Requesting payment to Gary Line Construction in the amount of $42,131.14 for payment number 6 and final for the Producers Road Rehabilitation Project.
So moved.
I got a motion and a second. All in favor, show by sign of aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Requesting payment to Hook Engineering in the amount of $10,925.91 for engineering services for the Producers Road Rehabilitation Project.
Got a motion and a second. Questions, comments? All in favor, show by sign of aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Requesting payment to Hook Engineering in the amount of $11,690.49 for engineering services for LSBP 7627 Fraser Road.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, show by sign of aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Requesting payment to Air Medcare Network in the amount of $18,654 for 1-year membership renewal for our helicopter services.
That's for all employees.
Yes.
Got a motion and support.
Yeah.
Motion approved. And a second. And a second. All in favor, show by sign of aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous.
Requesting approval to allocate third quarter funds for 2019-2020 for the tax assessor, collector, sheriff's department, and regional correctional facility.
And a second. All in favor, show by sign of aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Requesting that county offices are closed on April 10th, 2020 in the observance of the Good Friday holiday.
Second.
I've got a motion, Supervisor Gordon, second, Supervisor Brooks. All in favor, show by sign of aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, question.
The planning conference. I didn't know. I didn't know.
No.
No, you know,
Yeah, unanimous. I'm sorry. All right, Ms. You good, Ms. Carter?
I have a letter from Camp Looking Glass for use of the convention center on August 8, 2020 for their fundraiser that they have.
No, we already approved it.
So.
I got a motion. And a second. All in favor, show by sign of aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. That's unanimous.
August 8, 2020.
What is that date again?
August 8, 2020.
Hey, can't hear you.
I got one more thing to say.
All right, then we'll get to it. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ms. Moon.
Yes, is there a way to address, because we're here on behalf of the news media and we're recording the meetings for the world to see. Is there a way to address the disrespect and intimidation to have a board member video you in your face, which happened at the last meeting we were at? Because if other people want to come and speak to y'all and you've got a camera in your face, if you're saying something wrong, it could be very intimidating.
Right now, we don't have anything. We do have, something in our.
I'm just asking, could it be addressed?
Let me offer, the legality of it. And the law says that any person, can, videotape or record a session of the board meeting or any portion thereof, the same as the press can, unfortunately, all right? So, the public meeting.
Right.
And so that does not preclude board members from doing the same as the public. The public, I definitely do it as well, as well as the media. So, to answer your question, the board cannot adopt a policy because the policy has no legal enforceability.
Well, I mean, they're available online, that's, so that's not happening.
Yes,
What's available?
The videos are available online, the whole meeting, there you can see, it's just a
understand
little
what I'm saying?
I do understand, it's
Right,
just a little disrespectful because I'm not putting it right on you, we record it for everybody to see, for everything to be heard, so that everybody knows what's going on. Thank you.
I would like to respond. No, I would like to respond. I like to record meetings. Actually, I do record meetings, and I will continue to record meetings. Got a problem with it, you'll be okay.
I just brought it up. All right, thank you. Well,
One thing we try and do, Ms. Brooks and Mr. Moon, we said it's extremely important that we conduct these meetings with a certain level of professionalism and decorum, and that we are extremely respectful of each other. We will not be respected on this side if we do not demonstrate that same respect for one another. It's extremely important that we govern ourselves accordingly. Now, thank you everybody who are here today. Ms. Carter is finished up. Ms. Hansel, if you would, please.
Good morning. I have for the board today a request from me to allow me to send out letters of homestead chargeback that we received from the Department of Revenue. These letters are being sent to individuals who have not taken care of their personal state income taxes, and because of that, the Department of Revenue is now asking that their homestead be withheld and that they'll have to pay the regular taxes on their property. So we have a list of a little over 215 names, and we are required to send out letters.
No, I don't recommend it.
Oh, no, I'm not.
But you still have to accept the list. Yeah.
Okay, but what I want to say is that once the board approves this, then we will be sending these letters out, and we'll be giving taxpayers 30 days to make a protest. If they have some documentation that proves otherwise, then they can present that to my office, and then I'll bring it back to the board in the next meeting.
And in actuality, the board does not have to approve it because it's a state action. You just receive the list and add to the minutes.
And authorize me to send the letters.
Motion to receive and authorization.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Ms. Brooks, second. Mr. Gordon, motion. Any other questions? If not, all in favor, should I sign up?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. That's unanimous.
And the next item that I'd like to bring before the board is a correction. Actually, it's a deletion of the homestead exemption application for a Gladys Lee Hughes. This individual should receive homestead for the tax year 2019. The individual passed away, so this is a correction of the homestead exemption application. I need board approval on this.
Second. And a second. All in favor, should I sign up? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
And I have for the board today the invoice from Mississippi State University Extension Service, and this is for the reimbursement for employee salary and fringe benefits for the month period February 29, 2020. And this is for the extension building employees. I need the board's approval to pay $3,669.67.
So moved.
Motion and a second. All in favor, should I sign up? Any opposed? Motion carries. That's unanimous.
And I also have to give to the board today the grand jury report that we got from the circuit clerk's office. This is for the January term 2020, and I'm going to pass this over to the board attorney so that he may advise the board.
Is this something those I like to know, how they pay something?
You just need a motion to receive the grand jury report, and if any action, we'll report back to the board.
So,
Second. Motion and second. All in favor, should I sign up? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
And that's all that I have today for you.
Madam Clerk,
Yes, sir.
could you gonna need a copy for your minutes, so could you make me a copy or have a copy made?
I will. Thank
You know, in the past, on those grand jury reports, I know sometime back, we asked, we see the same reoccurring thing on there.
Yes.
You know, when we had different building grounds, we make sure he gets it, unless he needs to follow up with us so we can complete them, because I know some of them recur every year. So we need to try to stay on top of that.
you. So we need to make sure I give him a copy.
That's right, yeah.
Right, thank you. Yeah, because it does have a section.
And share a copy with Shad, that's all.
And the sheriff.
We have anything, Brooks?
This is, we send in
just have a couple of things. The sheriff is requesting to repair 5-hour radios, get Jackson Communication to repair. The price of the radios to be repaired are $2,378.55.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, so that's out of it. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Sheriff is also requesting to send one deputy to the APCO training. Is going to be in Biloxi, Mississippi, April the 20th through the 22nd of this year.
Got a motion?
Second.
And a second. All in favor, show by sign of aye. Any opposed?
Okay. The sheriff also want to know what are we doing in reference to this rodeo that's supposed to be with this coming up week,
We'll make a phone call with them and see what their intentions are.
and the other things that happen in the convention center that we have scheduled. Where we stand? What do we stand with this?
Contact with them. Right now, they're starting the council already.
Okay. And also about Hollows. You know, Hollows have so many people out there, but I know that's a private company.
They are doing some things for themselves at home. Like we can come and spend some more money.
So we just want to make sure that everybody's on the same page.
Chief, I understand, the state gaming commission, the police, and that, what's going on out there with respect to,
The gaming industry.
the virus.
Okay.
That's what you're talking about, right?
Yes, sir.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, sir. We just have to get in contact with them because we have more contact problems in games sometimes.
Yeah.
Chief, I think I saw the rodeo canceled on Facebook last night.
Put regulations in place that they are not.
Look it up on Kenny Edwards'
More
Facebook
than
account.
50 at any particular activity. But I'm also informed that with respect to the flow games and stuff, the state is not restricting that because the state doesn't want to lose their money.
Yeah, when we talking about money, talking about lives.
Sir?
We're talking about lives, so money.
Right. Yes.
You all make contact with state gaming or do we need to make it?
Sheriff.
Thank you, sir.
One more thing, Ms. Carter, did you get the third from the third bank?
No, we only need one more.
We'll need one more.
Still with no guarantee.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else, Ms. Martin? You good? Thank you. Did we get everyone? Ma'am?
I would like to
Edmund McCoy, Dr. McCoy.
This is incumbent on me as a healthcare professional, that I make sure that you all understand something. Everyone is kind of like thinking about themselves, what money they're gonna lose. And the conversation is our job to get the information out there, it's their job to get it. No, it's our job is to try to contain this virus. Because it has no respect for a person, race, or whatever. So if a poor person gets it, or a person out there in the street gets it, everybody knows somebody that know that person. The job should be for us to contain the virus and prevent further spread so that we can eradicate the disease. And right now, we're not prepared. And we need to get that information out to the public, and it needs to be the same information, not all of this that we're getting on Facebook, because people are going to believe the worst part. They're not going to believe the facts. So we need to be thinking along those lines of making sure that that awareness is out there. Everybody is not on Facebook. I'm going to say that again. Everybody don't get the DDT. Everybody don't watch the news. And then if you do, you might not be getting the right information because you're not getting it from the correct source. So everybody's not going to be, how should I say it? A lot of people don't have any trust in local government or in medical facilities. So we need to be planning that. Our job should be to eradicate the disease. Don't worry about what money we're going to lose, because you're going to lose more money than that if you don't. That's the reason why we're in the position we're in now. We was not prepared. Although we know it was all over the world, why was the United States not prepared? Because we're too worried about that bottom line. I just want to make sure You understand?
I think Dr. McCoy brought out an excellent point. She's right when it comes to everybody's not on Facebook. Everybody don't get BET. Now they don't come out twice a week. Honestly, I don't get it. I think we do need to make a concerted effort to try to reach out. I think one way we can do is we can send out letters to the churches, just as when we're campaigning. You know, traditionally what I've done when I send out letters, I think we really need to look at have a unified letter once we have the meeting on Thursday to get them out to all the churches that are having services. Because I know there's some churches now, but just for all the churches in Leland had church. We didn't cut out church in Leland, Mississippi. The white and the black churches were in session in Leland. So I think there will be an active way that we can send it out because in the black church we have announcements. And I spoke to my church about the coronavirus from our meeting we had and from the meeting that I went to in Clarksville, Mississippi, Coleman County. So I would like to see our board, you know, take a very strong effort to try to reach as many citizens as possible. That's why I kept saying, why don't we put that phone number out on our webpage? Even looking at doing PSAs, whether Delta Region does it or not. We need to make sure it's running on WPAB, running on Q102, whatever stations are, so people can know what we have available and how to address.
Let me do one thing for you all. In Washington County, we have an ability to contact every cell phone that has been signed up with our communication system.
Go on.
Okay? And everybody who don't have Facebook or TV or whatever, have a cell phone. We will communicate through our emergency management system to every cell phone that's signed up. Do not think we're not planning. Do not think we're taking this lightly. We're taking it very, very seriously.
I understand what you're saying. And I'm not accusing you of this board of taking it lightly. But what I'm saying is not only the information is where they can go get help, but there needs to be an awareness of what they can and cannot do, and those things that will help stop the spread of disease. That is not being done because it wasn't done from the beginning from CDC. You see what I'm saying? That education needs to be out there, and it needs to be done over and over again. A lot of people don't read anything. A lot of people don't hear what you said when you first say it.
Thank you, Dr. McCoy.
You're welcome.
Anyone else? If you miss anyone else, please. Oh.
Can you just call maybe a countywide day of prayer?
Yeah, we can.
Let's do it. Get a resolution. Let's do it. Believe that thing is not coming up near us. Right, Jesse?
That's right. Yes, we need the prayer, but we also need that education as well. It's the same thing God wants you to do.
All right, I'm gonna move on.
Okay.
Both of you. Okay. Lee, what you got?
No.
We're gonna do this. We'll go to executive. Before we go to executive session, good. Now,
Yeah, you need to assess this vehicle.
I got that.
As well as, I just want to report and reiterate on that the hospital committee did meet with DRMC and the panel that came before us earlier. And so if there is going to be an effort to make sure that those, especially their hotline number, does get to our website, and those visiting hours, and the fact that the hospital has also taken precautions to allow only 2 visitors at a time. And so we need to just make sure we get that information out. And if we could do that, I think that will satisfy the requirements for which the hospital wants the public to know that they're moving to the new schedule.
First of all, I want to say to all citizens, it is never my intention to try to intimidate anyone. I stand for all people. The other concern as far as with the coronavirus, I think we all can be proactive as far as reaching out to our neighbors, reaching out to the elderly, making sure everybody knows what's going on, because at the end of the day, it's not going to be just the few of us out here. It's going to take the masses in our community to try to make sure that we stay safe. And the other concern is
I want to follow back up with Mr. Tommy and find some funding for District 4, since we were excluded in this particular round of projects.
You didn't know what it is, like the sewage problem.
Well, that's okay, but I mean, any project we need, I just want to make sure that out there that we will be coming back for our project this year.
I just think we got a roof for our sleeve.
Yes, sir. Okay, now, Mission Mississippi is still scheduled for second Tuesday in April. They have not canceled yet. Not approval from this board since they allow things to move forward and not call them and tell them they cannot have it. It's actually a request right now. For the board is sponsored Mission Mississippi on the second Tuesday in April, and we have been doing that for the last 2-3 years. And the only cost associated is just buying the practice. So.
When is that date again?
Second Tuesday in April.
What day is it?
That's going to be April 13th. Mission Mississippi, it's a 7 a.m. breakfast meeting. Of course, if you all approve to move forward, we'll have to find a guest speaker. For the last couple of years, we've had Senator Derek Simmons, and last year we had,
Can we,
if somebody want to head that up,
can we go ahead and approve it? I'm sure they're going to cancel it, but, I move to approve that.
Second.
all right, so probably moved and seconded to approve Mission Mississippi on the second Tuesday, which is the 13th of April. All in favor, should I sign up?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We're also scheduled to have leadership Washington County in the courthouse on this.
How's that?
What's equal?
Mission Mississippi.
I don't see anything.
Are you right about that?
I get that in my pocket.
Yeah.
That's different.
Huh?
Well, I got down.
They never pay. The county never pay.
Okay.
Yeah, we usually give something to the board.
No, I mean, you have it.
I just want to know the cost.
It'll happen.
No, I spend it out of my pocket.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to give me a couple $100, that's fine. But it's a food fee, well, a group up to,
Yeah, about 60.
you want to cover it's not a big deal. You're not saying that. Well, we move. Like I was saying, Mission Leadership Washington County is scheduled for the 18th, which is Wednesday morning, 9 a.m. Now, Ms. Hansel, they hadn't called and said they were canceling. Normally, we'll meet them here in this room, and then we'll have a conversation about governance and what we do. They'll go and visit the Chancery Clerk's office, Circuit Clerk's office, and of course, then they take a tour upstairs, and some of the judges change to some of the other offices.
Leadership.
Right.
Now, it isn't kids.
Well, no, not all of them. You have people, young people in the county.
Oh, it's just young adults. Oh, young people.
Yeah.
But it's not school age people.
Oh, no.
Okay, when you said take a tour, that's why I asked.
Well, they take a tour, they'll come in and they'll sit around this table, we'll have a conversation with them, and they'll visit Ms. Hansel, and, you know, they'll explain to her what they do in her office and other offices, as well as the tour upstairs. Wednesday, if they do approve, I might have to get Ms. Carter, one of you all, to meet them in here and you know, get that up. Like I said, they have to call back and they have to cancel, but I try to reach out and touch bases with them. Waiting on Mr. Anderson and the approval from the state with VFW Road, he'll get us that back. We have several vehicles in Washington County that we're looking at reassigning and doing things with. There is one vehicle that was assigned to District 2 that there has been a request from the town of Arcola for that vehicle. There is a vehicle that's currently assigned to District 4. The District 4 is in the process of waiting on a new vehicle. There's been a request from the Sheriff Department for that vehicle for the Warden's office. And there is an additional vehicle, the one that was assigned to emergency management, the first one we got, is requested by the Road Department for a service vehicle. All those vehicles now are assigned to the Board of Supervisors. If you're going to award the vehicle to the outside governmental agency, you'll first have to declare it surplus, and you can make the award after that. So
Do we declare all of them surplus or just that?
No, just that one.
So do I need to do that now? At what point?
It's going to be now.
You got your new vehicle? Are you still driving?
I have it, yes, sir. But I wish to declare the old one as surplus.
I'm saying you have your new vehicle.
I do.
But now, I don't have a serial number, that kind, we'll go by serial number.
We don't have
And
that.
we're gonna have to have a,
Yeah.
well, I'll get
Yeah.
there, but we know what you're talking about.
Right.
Okay.
It's the old pickup, with the,
That was signed the district to.
Yes, sir.
District two, right.
But I will have the
You
serial
can
number.
declare surplus today,
I wish to do that.
as well as, secondly, you can have, ask that it be.
And I asked
Remove
that
from
from inventory and
and, transfer,
to the town of
to
Arcola
town.
You accept.
At no cost.
at no cost. Yeah,
$1.
$1 in.
Leave it home.
I guess. In the Bronx, it's $1.
All right, everybody understand, I do have a second, I do have a motion. I do have a second.
Is it housing?
Yeah,
Don't
it's,
try to repeat
Yeah.
it, please,
I can't.
we don't need any accurate information. We'll have the mileage, serial number, and everything as part of the record, I'll take care of that.
With respect to District Four, no further.
Yeah, we holding that one, as a request for,
Right.
but it can't be transferred into the new district.
Sure it can. Unless you use it. It can be transferred unless you use it.
Well, if you transfer, she won't have access to it, then we need to approve for her travel.
And you're doing that anyway.
No?
The only travel you would have to approve is out of county.
We'll do that anyway.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there's no sense in allowing.
We don't have to approve the in-house, the ones we keep in-house, we don't have to
We'll
approve the
transfer,
different.
you'll want to transfer.
You still have to transfer it, on the minutes to
the different
new
parts.
part. Yes.
So what are you doing?
Right now, we're dealing with, I have a motion and a second to deal with the District 4, District 2 vehicle. I will get you the VIN number as well as the mileage for the record. The motion is to go ahead and declare it surplus. Then we'll take another motion to transfer it to other governmental agency. Got a motion and a second to declare surplus, all in favor, show by sign of aye. Any opposed? Was that an above? Motion carries. Motion carries. All right, now I need a motion to go ahead and transfer it to another governmental agency, which is the town of Arcola. I've got a motion and a second. Any comments or questions? All in favor, show by sign of aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. I'll get you that information today, Ms. Hanson. Now, let me do one other thing. What that does for us. Should have said it at first. Right now, the vehicle's being used in the administration office, hauling voting machines, that kind of thing, going around checking different county properties. We'll have to work something out with the vehicle until we can replace that. Which is?
No, I'm talking.
That's District 2 vehicle we're pulling. I'm gonna have to get them something to ride in the meantime.
Well, they go around the corner.
No.
Well, that's the only problem.
Giving it away.
Us getting it away, I want to change my vote on that today. Because if it's still
in use.
Do what now?
I was just taking in surplus. We hadn't took that up.
We hadn't taken the vote to go into, give it away?
Yes, you did. District 2.
No, to give the vehicle.
They transfer it to.
Oh, no.
We hadn't taken
They
it.
got the motion.
Yeah, but you had it.
That's what I'm saying, but that's what I'm saying, if it's operational enough that we're using it, you know, I don't feel comfortable
Just vote
declaring
on
it
it.
surplus.
You voted on
I
everything.
didn't think, did we carry the motion or not?
Yeah, no, I'm
You carried the first motion to declare it
Surplus.
surplus.
Okay, but we hadn't
And
carried
we
it
haven't
up.
carried the
Okay.
transfer.
Right, we have a transfer. We have a transfer.
You just have a motion. and a
Now,
second.
what's going to have to happen is, if we do take that vehicle, you know, we'll give them another vehicle that they can ride. We'll take the one from, my God, District 3. No, we don't. No, we don't.
I'm just concerned about us giving vehicles away and declaring surplus, and they're still, you know, we're using them.
Yeah,
I mean, I have a little bit of an issue with that.
okay. Any other comments before I got a motion and a second to transfer it to a governmental agency? It's already a motion and a second. And keep in mind, the vehicle is currently being used. If you do move this vehicle, I will have to replace it.
I think Mr. Gordon's point is well taken. The board, the statute says that it's a personal or real property that the county is no longer using. If you still use it, then it's not surplus property. I recommend that you postpone.
If you declare it surplus, it means we are no longer using it.
But according to the board president, you are using it. So I would recommend that you postpone declaring the surplus until you no longer use it.
And we just simply need to no longer use it.
That's it.
And then if we declare it surplus, we are no longer using it.
I work out.
Bishop, put the cart before the horse.
Yes, sir.
You have to be no longer using it first,
Yes, sir.
and then declare it surplus.
Yes, sir.
I guess what I failed to tell you last week.
Yes. Well, so, what I would recommend, that doesn't preclude you come back from, the first meeting and declare surplus.
Yes, sir.
All right?
Yes, sir.
It's gonna stay, well, go ahead. We have to rescind the motion.
No, you didn't carry, you didn't carry the motion.
That's surplus.
You carry the surplus out.
Right, you didn't rescind the motion. So, until such time as, it is abandoned from usage.
All right? I need a vote to rescind, Tom?
Yes, sir. You can
Where's your motion?
move to rescind.
Move to rescind.
Yeah, the motion to declare surplus.
Second.
And second. All in favor, show by sign of aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Now, we were to give this a second vehicle. We'll talk about it. We'll work it out.
Yeah.
I'll work it out.
Can't give away nothing. Oh, that truck sounds like.
Okay, now, as far as to bring you all up to date on the depot building, we were expected to have a visit from the Department of Public Safety this morning at 10:30. They were coming in to actually take pictures, do a drawing, and talk about the changes they would need to the property. And they'll go back and put together those drawings and upgrades, and they'll attach a number to it as well. Keep in mind, with them not holding the deed to the property, with the Department of Public Safety not owning the property, they cannot expand funds at this time. They'll give us that number, and we'll have a decision to make. Now, in acquiring the surrounding property from C&G Railroad, there was a phone call made to them last week, and maybe they were on spring break, haven't gotten back with them, but it may take a trip to Columbus with the map and everything else, making sure they clearly understand what our request is for the surrounding property. That property that will give the Department of Public Safety the ability to do commercial testing at that location. So it's still ongoing, don't have anything yet. We do finally have.
You have a new deal?
You do?
No, I talked to him and he said,
Okay, there was an issue with the guarantee.
Right.
Guarantee.
Right, they just added the, too many people in there, and I told them that all we needed was, from the city, a quick claim deed from the city to Washington County. They're correct.
Yeah.
Has there been any conversation what they're doing with the building Highway 2?
They are rehabbing that building. They actually came in, they got permits to do upgrades to it. But, since you asked, they don't like the location. It may be premature, but the comments are that I've got maybe is they prefer this location. They want to make it work. What we'll have to do is decide how we want to transfer the property. We do have locations that they get rent from, but if we decide to rent the property to them, then we'll have to pick up the cost of this renovation. It could be as much as $100,000. Rental property in the downtown area, not crazy wild guess, $2,000, $2,500, that kind of thing. I don't know. But we'll have to decide once we get those numbers what is in the best interest of Washington County. How do we transfer that property? How do we ensure we get them in?
Once we get done, we have a better idea.
Yeah. Okay. Now we have a letter. Where's the from the town of Metcalf. new MOU.
And local agreement.
Local agreement.
Which one?
Town meeting. That has revised, that has revised numbers as far as, what the monthly payments are that we have to receive. And
What's the air conditioner on? Yeah, we need to put this air conditioner on.
we want to talk about the letter from town meeting request. And just go and review it with the city would honor staff. Yeah.
All right, this simple action that we continue to provide the garbage collection for them.
And trash.
And pick up trash. And they indicated that they have 214 homes. To provide those containers for 214 homes, that's total. And I haven't seen the pair of the trash.
It was like 412 something like that.
412?
Yeah.
214?
Yeah. Apartment complex, everything, that was the number.
What I would recommend is, that's quite a change. That's a substantial change. I would recommend, and I recall years ago, we actually literally had people from the road department go out and count the number. I would recommend that we have a count before we approve. Okay.
So what there's
household?
Yes.
It's a count, it's not, it was counts. Let me do this for you.
Yes.
They have X number of accounts where they collect the trash, the garbage pickup. Those are active water bill and utility accounts. This number is based on those accounts. The previous number came from the previous board, and it was somewhat elevated.
That's a lot of money.
Well, they were collecting a lot of money, but they were looking for a different deal. So this is a revised number that does not include.
Is it higher or lower?
This is.
But what I'm saying, when we pick up garbage, and probably Arthur would be the answer, when you're talking, they may have counted apartments where it's one water meter, they may have had, 40 units there. But well, hold on now, do we pick up the garbage for the apartments?
There's one that we do, and it has meters broken out. It's I can think of the name.
That's separate meter.
Separate water meter?
For each individual?
Okay.
That's my understanding.
How much they paying for garbage?
10.
Well, now it's
So the
2,000.
information that we use for the fire interrupters, did that come from the town?
It was wrong.
What's your
It was
recommendation?
393.
My recommendation
Did we
is,
take from the town?
They're saying it's now 214. It's previously.
But I'm like the attorney, that's a big difference. I would recommend that someone from ACAF and someone from the county get together and make sure that we're accurate with that count. But of course, we don't want to charge them for more than we're doing, and they don't want to pay for more than they're doing. I don't blame them. But we need to get someone from the county, auditor's office, someone from the city of Big Bend to accurately count those. And if we've overcharged them too, we need to look at that.
well, no, we have no charge.
They haven't paid, have they?
Yes, they have.
They've been paying.
But we do have an arrears.
We have one thing that's
We do have an arrears.
That's right, yeah, that's right. I got it.
Let me deal with that.
Yeah.
Now we can get them to pull their list of active accounts. We can put a counter on the tipper, but it has to make a full tilt as they pick up. We can go around 1, 2, 3, but because a house is sitting there, doesn't mean it's an active account or water is on, or they're paying, okay?
What is it like if a house is sitting there? I think if the house should be counted if it's habitable, because you can eventually rent it, and then you exclude the house, and will you not count it?
What you would do is, you would take a list of the active accounts that you're billing every month. You may have 300 accounts, but you're only billing 200, meaning there are 200 homes that are occupied. There's 100 that's empty. Those accounts are inactive.
Well, it may be inactive for a period of time, but if it's just a rental home and someone is like staying there, you would want to count that.
Once
Around 40, Mr. President, if you did it any other way, you would be modifying the family contract. You'll never have, truly, you will never get an accurate account.
let me do this, if I may.
Yes.
This is a listing of accounts. If the number decreases, they will show us on when they send us our payment, what accounts have zone inactive. That's the only way they collect, we don't. They will show active and inactive accounts. We can set it at 400, but if you only got 214.
Well, here, it's similar to what you do with jail. You know, you got a fixed number of accounts. And your contracts ought to have a fixed number of accounts.
It does in the jail.
That they pay.
They do pay.
Regardless of whether or not someone's there.
Regardless of the actual population.
You know, it's based on the number of houses, potential homes.
Well, the jail is based on B, not population.
But jail makes something. But you may have 300 homes, but and 200 occupied, but you project there may be 225 or something, and say, okay, based on this projection, this is what we expect.
Yeah.
Okay, and when they go active, you'll receive compensation. You want to receive compensation before they're active.
Regardless, you receive compensation regardless based on the projection.
No.
You're trying to get somebody to stay in there, Captain.
No. You can't do it that way. You can't collect, you can't get for their not collecting.
Well,
you can't get for their not collecting.
Well, and here's the problem. I don't know how the county operates anymore. When I was here, the county was never collected from the amount to pay the total that was due. Okay? And what it meant was the county had a military to compensate for the difference between what it was charging and what it was collecting.
It's just like right now, we set a budget based on anticipated collections.
That's what they need to do.
Well, but when you look and see this long list that Ms. Lee gonna put out of delinquent properties, which is 3 or 4 pages, you're not gonna collect that on your budget.
And so that's my point.
We're on the same page.
Right. Well,
you can't collect what they don't have. You can't spend what they don't have.
Well, what I'm saying, Mr. McGee, is this, okay? You do a projection of, and based on that projection, that's what they pay the county, okay? If they project, if y'all got an agreement, well, projection is what they said, 214, what they said is the actual number, all right? But that gonna fluctuate, up sometime down. So you have to anticipate the fluctuation as well. Okay? And it's something that's reasonable. I'm not saying charge them 300 or 250, but I'm saying you now impose on duty on someone to audit their accounts. Okay, if you do that.
Well, they already do it.
Mr. Griffin, I would say,
They do it.
I think it should be some type of audit going on if there are discrepancies on their numbers. And I agree with Mr. McGee on what he said on what we need to do.
And you said you're gonna do a monthly audit of that?
No, I'm not. All I'm saying is they're going to send us what they collect based on the 214 number.
And if they get more.
If they get more, they'll notify us. If they get less, they'll notify us.
I've got to still agree that that's too big of a difference in the number. We went our original number to now. I'm not comfortable with approving that without a true account than that. And I think that's what he's saying. It needs to be, that's just a big difference. That going from what, 4, whatever, to 398, 393 to what now? 214. That's a large amount of difference. And I would like an accurate count on that before we
get you a listing.
And it may be right. It may be right.
I will get you a listing of their active accounts. Okay.
Yeah. That's all I'm saying. Until my vote would be that I want an active.
Yeah. Let me go till he get his active account. I'm making a motion to get his active account and come back. I don't be able to move out there. Whatever.
You promise?
Yeah, you keep on standing up. That's good.
Second.
I've got a motion and a second. Thank you all for the 215 number.
214.
214 number. You know, that will reflect the monthly receivables from town of Metcalf for trash collection. Now let's discuss trash.
You got carried.
Trash your motion. Any other questions?
Let's approve contract.
Yes. You said any more questions, you said?
Interlocal agreement.
Interlocal agreement, yes.
All in favor, should I sign by?
Aye.
Any opposed? Nay. Motion carries. One nay, Supervisor Gordon. Now, there's an arrears amount as well, based on that same number. On your sheet. They weren't paying anything, that's why I said the
Well,
arrears.
you know, when we come to the board, they wasn't paying it all, so we finally worked it out with Midcalf and our COLA, and that's how we got to this point. You know, and there were some in the rear that we, that we did not receive, so that's how we're at this point.
The arrears, officer could not possibly be a 398, could it?
It was until we adjusted it.
So what's y'all adjusted to?
4214.
When was it adjusted?
It will today, we haven't adjusted.
What I'm asking is, last month, was it 398?
No.
It had to be if we hadn't changed it.
We didn't just.
See, you can't make changes retroactive. Okay?
You can, but
What is your,
What is my recommendation?
Let me review this.
yeah,
Let me review this and tell me what we're doing. Y'all tell me what we're doing, okay? I know going forward is 214.
Okay.
All right, no question. Do we have, is there an interlocal agreement in place from the past? There you
Right, we
go.
do.
Give me a copy of that interlocal agreement, all right? And what that will entail, but you can't just come into the board and say we're going to modify to reflect what actually exists. You're going to have to do some, you're going to have to make a finding in your minutes based upon some facts to substantiate that 214 existed sometime prior to. Otherwise, it's just going to be retroactive, fixing without any evidence to support that retroactivity. Okay?
Listening to the council, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
I hear you.
So,
What do you recommend?
I'm recommending that some record be pulled.
All right, we'll do it.
Sir,
How was it?
you gonna do it.
Ask the town head cat for it.
Okay.
Unless you gonna do it.
How far you plan to go back?
If you tell us, it's,
How old is this interlocal agreement? Is that the one from a few years back?
yeah.
Yes,
to be closed.
Right after we come on board, it's this summer.
I remember something being discussed, and I remember Mayor Holmes coming before the board. I read in the newspaper back in the day and asking y'all for an interlocal agreement. I recall, that's the one y'all talking about. So can you get to that?
Yeah, I have.
Okay.
let me do this.
And it was, at that point, it was 398.
93. The board attorney made calls to all of these municipalities and got information from those clerks.
Okay.
That's where those numbers came from.
Get on the phone.
Is this the only one that's problematic?
Yes.
Our code stayed right.
I call it back, leave it alone.
I will work it out.
Yeah.
Can we get this done today going forward? Now, with respect to the past, you need to authorize the board attorney to try to and determine what is the actual, yes,
Everybody,
Determine what now?
the actual arrears amount. What are the true numbers coming back for the last 24, 28 months now? Maybe 32 months.
So is there a motion for this?
I'm about to ask you, ready? You ready, Ms. Hampson?
I'm ready.
All right. Can I get a motion to that effect?
So what,
We're
what's
gonna done to go back and confirm the arrears amount based on active account information that the
Some of
attorney rather than second. Got a motion and a second. Making sure that's not about. Any opposed? Motion carries.
That'll give us a true number.
That should give us a decent number. Yeah. Close we can get.
Yeah.
Yeah, now. Hey, right, we got several executive sessions. That's it for me.
But before we go into executive session, Mr. President, if I may, I spoke to Mr. Montgomery to find out if that vehicle was being used at all. And according to him, it is not being used for the purpose of election, the transport of election equipment or none of that. So I want to make sure that we are clear that we go right back and declare that vehicle surplus.
Now, he's not doing it now. He's gonna do it at the next meeting, like you agreed.
Why do we have to wait till the next meeting now?
You said you're talking to Montgomery.
County administrator, the vehicle being used.
No, let's go.
County administrator, is that
We did utilize vehicle during election, and he does use it, he passed,
you put out voting machines?
yeah, he uses the vehicle to transport machines, and he also uses it to go around cruising, yeah.
Well, next election, not in November.
Per our discussion, he has completed all business concerning that process.
You have said it.
Election.
Yeah, we're done.
Go ahead. This election's in November.
Let's go.
You go.
So I did make it.
I second it.
The motion is go ahead to declare surplus.
Yes, sir.
That's the first step, Mr. Attorney.
Yes, sir.
Got a motion and a second, all in favor, should I sign about?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Next motion.
One nay.
Next motion.
Next motion is to transfer. And they're trying to transfer ownership to the town of Arco.
Second.
I got a motion and a second. All in favor? Show by sign.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries, yeah. All right, we'll get you information, Ms. Hansel mileage and, McGee, let's go 4-1. Let's, now, can we transfer the other vehicles to the other departments?
You did that already. They already, that's into the county. They gotta do them, get out of there.
No, he's talking about those three.
I'm sharing on this end. I want to share that too. No.
Yeah, there's not a vote to talk about.
Yes,
All right.
Mr. President, I recommend you go ahead and entertain a motion to plan for all these vehicles that are not being used.
In-house.
Yeah.
Right, in-house transfer.
Okay, and so for clarity,
Department.
okay,
We don't need the plan from the department to the
transfer.
Right.
Okay, but for clarification, we're talking about District 4 vehicle, we're talking about the emergency management vehicle.
Yes, we'll get you the bins and everything.
Okay, just for those two.
District 4 will go to the sheriff department.
I got that to the sheriff department, and then the emergency management vehicle goes to the road department.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, Mr. Gordon made the motion. Who said?
I say.
Oh.
That's what we'll do.
All right, I got a motion and a second to transfer of vehicles. We get the documents in place, and we'll make the phone calls to the respective departments and get that taken care of. Did I miss anything?
No, sir.
All in favor, show by sign of aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. I'll get that to you and Ms. Curtis.
You gotta get it in there. You don't.
No, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it. Now, that was it for me. Does anybody else think anything you want before we go to executive session? We've got a, what all do we have? Contract negotiation. We have personnel matter. And what else do we have for executive session?
Move to go into close.
Need to go, got a motion to go into closed session. And a second go into closed session now, Saturday 10th for executive session. All in favor, show us sign of aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Well, thank you all for coming out. We're about to go into executive session right now. And, we hopefully we won't be very long. I mean, you gonna shut down for us?
Yes, sir.